welcome back to Pixels and Pints, our second episode for 2024, and we're back to a remote recording because I live far too far away.
And I'm sick as a dog.
And Tom's sick as a dog. So
and
yeah,
you
we definitely
both gave up the opportunity to give my house shit. I'm surprised.
Why?
We're back to remote because Pete's house sucks.
No, your house was fine last time.
Yeah.
I didn't even get cat hair all the way up into my sinuses that time.
Hey, proud of you. Proud of you.
Loki was headbutting my microphone for 3/4 of the episode.
True.
So we are here. I am Dan. I'm here with the very hot and feverish Thomas.
Like a cowbell.
What?
Yep.
I got the fever. Fever for more cowbell.
Yeah, okay.
Made just as much sense the second time for
Yeah,
me.
no, I agree. Me too. It's been a quite a warm.
It's
Yep,
a long, deep YouTube cut of an SNL skit. It's
Okay.
Christopher Walken wanting more cowbell. Never mind. Whatever. Fuck off.
that
I've got
rings
a
a bell.
fever.
Yeah.
Fucking dicks.
Tom's
Gone back to
sucking
my
on his water.
sippy cup.
And Pete.
Hi.
Pete, just off a fantastic phone call you've just had, and we're into changing the mood, getting it all revved up to go into some hopefully good news. I still haven't read the news.
Yeah, the news is okay.
I sped read it.
Yes.
There's a little
There's
bit of sad
actually-
news in there, but you know.
Yeah.
New
There's
format.
actually-
Did I say new format? New
No.
format. New year, new format. We're going to try it. See how it goes.
Yeah, so we're
I don't
taking
know.
we're trying to keep the episodes a little shorter, just down to like the 2-hour mark or so.
We're doing well so far.
Sure.
We'll see how we go. So we're not going to do a big deal. We're not going to make a big deal out of trailers. We'll do a couple that stand out, but they're going to have to stand out. It's not going to be everything going on. But we are going to spend more time and focus and energy bringing you the latest pop culture news. Like my goal
And
would
reviews.
My goal would be this would be the place that you go to get your pop culture news. So that requires us to actually do some research, but we'll do that. And obviously we'll talk about the shit that we watched and the reviews and stuff. And eventually I'll turn my PlayStation on again and we can talk about what I've been playing.
And just so there's no delusion at home, I do not do any research. Tom and Pete do all the research and fill out the run sheet that we have, which is quite substantial at times. And I come in and put about 2 lines in that shit that only is specific to me. So yeah.
But in that saying, Dan does review way more like watching content than I do. So, you know, it's balances. And then Pete does all the editing and everything else. So there you go.
Yes,
We're
there is balance.
I wouldn't say well-oiled. We're an oiled machine.
Greased up, ready to go.
It always just makes me think of you a little bit as Ron Burgundy. I'm pretty sure if we changed the fucking run sheet script to say "fuck you, San Diego," you'd probably read straight off the sheet. Anyway,
Go fuck yourself, San Diego. What a great film. And we're drinking beers. Despite my fever. Fuck it. Alcohol's going to fix me.
God, I need this beer.
Oh, well,
Who's going first?
I've cracked my beer, and I'm halfway through it, so I'll start, get it out of the way. I'm having the second of the Maggie Island Brewery beers that Emma brought home for me from Magnetic Island. So I'm having their Holiday XPA. I wanted something nice and light.
That's a nice label.
Yeah, it was the same one for their other one as well. It's
Simple, clean, nothing over the top. No
and they
bullshit.
think it hides how badly labeled it's lined up, but it doesn't.
Black on black?
Yeah. It is a 4.5% XPA. It pours a little bit of like haze in there, not too much. It's not trying to be hazy at all. And it's got a nice little hop hit to it. It's very much. This is perfect for this kind of humid weather that we're having right now. This is really nice and easygoing. It is refreshing in the way that an XPA should be, and it's got a decent little hop hit to it. I don't know if it says it does.
Yay!
Waiatiti, Kohatu, and Rawaka, all New Zealand hops. There you go. This is
Waititi and Wakatu.
I thought he said "why titty" to start with. I got excited. I was about to answer, but you changed it.
Yes, whatever I said. My brain worked good now. Yes. Really, really nice. I'm going to give that a solid 4. 4 to start. Well done.
Cool. I'll let you fill in your own stats in the run sheet, please.
Yeah, chef.
Dan?
Your own stats. You got to do homework while recording these days. I have Rusty Penny Brewing from Penrith. I have the coffee and coconut pale ale at 5.8% alcohol. It is not a clean and simple label, but still a nice label. Like it is a coffee bean sitting under a coconut tree on an island, drinking a cocktail out of a coconut. It's done with the Underground Coffee Roasters, which I'm assuming is another Penrith company, Penrith, Sydney. By the way, Rusty Penny, fucking brilliant barbecue. Like, it is got to be some of the best barbecue food in Sydney. Like, just absolutely fantastic if you're ever out at the brewery. It's great.
Underground Roasters are a Penrith roastery.
Yeah. It's great. The coffee is really dominant on the nose. You get some real roast character, like real pungent roast coffee character to it. There's a little bit of green bean character there as well. The beer itself has a tinge of some crystal malts in there that'll give it a little bit of color, but also gives it a tiny bit of caramel and sweetness on the palate. And then the coconut is absolutely done to the perfect level. It's not overpowering. The coffee is the hero of this beer. And the coconut just rolls through, and it's that little bit of sweetness. Is it actual
coconut, did they say, or is it like
it doesn't
Sabro?
Say. No, it just says fusion of coffee and coconut. It doesn't actually say what they used.
It's coconut adjacent extract, Tom.
It's not. No, well, Sabro's a hop that can give coconut characters.
Yeah.
It's the one that puts the lime.
I was being a dick, but you ruined my joke when you fucking explained it like I said.
Well,
something serious.
It wasn't much of a joke, so that's why I had to explain like you were serious.
Face as a joke.
It's going to be one of those, right? We're not even 10 minutes in. You always have to question coffee in pale beers.
I was about to say it's unusual to hear coffee as a core note in a pale beer.
And the coffee is 100% the hero in this beer. The beer, the underlying beer is really well made. It's super clean. There's no faults to it. The bitterness level is really right for everything else. Like, it just the coffee, you get the coffee, and then the other flavors kind of just taper through and just hold on the palate as well. I think this is an exceptional beer.
Yeah, nice.
Cool. And I chose it for my first one because I really needed the caffeine.
Nice.
And then I decided after I did that little intro, I probably don't need caffeine as well. But we'll see how the rest of the night goes. I think this is a solid 4.75.
Yeah, wow, nice. It's very nice.
It's one of those ones that I'd love to have another one, but I know I probably wouldn't sleep for 2 days if I did have another one because the coffee is that strong. So
yeah, right.
It kind of shoots yourself in the foot there a little bit, don't you? You want to sell a lot, but you can't sell. Like, nobody's going to buy a case of this.
Yeah, but that's a 4-pack move. You do a smaller run of it.
Maybe that's for sensitive people like you that are sensitive to caffeine. I mean,
I just had a
large can of Mother, and I'll sleep like a baby at like 10:30.
Ew, yucky.
Yeah.
Yucky juice.
It's all right. It was the sugar-free version. Leave me alone. So I'm drinking Garage Project's Chipper Hazy Pale Ale. Yeah.
Oh.
I was very disorganized, and I had to stop into a large chain to buy my craft beer, and I was impressed.
The one that shall not be named.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually really darn good. It's 5%, so I thought I'd start pretty light. I think I've got a couple of 6.5s to deal with later. It's a New Zealand hazy pale. I mean, I get a lot of tropical juice flavors out of it. I get orange pith at the end, which is really cool because it's kind of textured nicely, and it's not, for me anyway, it's unusual to get orange pith as opposed to something like grapefruit where it's got a lot more tartness to it at the end there. Yeah, I mean, it's described as It's described as the way that I got in trouble at the very beginning of our podcast recording days for describing every fucking beer, which is easy to drink. That's how they describe it on Untapped. So
that was slightly worrying because you've been in trouble for a lot of things over the years. So I didn't know where that was quite going.
Very true, but I edited it all out, so would have been fine. Yeah, I'm going to give that a 4.
Nice.
Well above average.
Solid start.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I'm
Chipper
quite
was
happy
part
with
of their core now. I don't know.
I would suspect that it was. I did feel like a complete asshole and at the same time took pleasure, which I guess describes me to a T, really. I was an asshole and took pleasure in being an asshole of ruining 4 4-packs for my beers.
Oh, they were cardboard. You put it in the chat, and I didn't register they were cardboard.
Yeah,
okay.
But it's like if you're gonna advertise this, if you're gonna advertise the singles price, then I'm gonna buy a fucking single when it suits me, man.
Hey, now you've just lined up 3 more singles for somebody else to buy, so it's fine.
Exactly. And then she pulls out the Tetra top thing and starts clipping them together. I'm not actually. I've got to put it in a backpack. So can you undo that? Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm the asshole. It's all good. Anywho, should we kick off with some news? Are you right, Tom? You look like you're considering life choices or something. Oh, you're right.
I got my R2D2 sippy cup, and I'm happy.
Cool. Well, you can kick off with some news when you're ready, in your own time, Tom.
We interrupt this broadcast with some breaking news from the front.
In my own time. Oh, I really want to talk about this. Palworld. This is... I don't know if you guys have seen this in any news coming up. I've been keeping a little eye on this. It's Pokemon with guns. It's the dumbest fucking concept ever. But I love it. I think it's hilarious. It's look, it's suffered a lot of heat online for some of the character model designs for the monsters they've created, in the sense that they are literally people have gone through the characters. Some of them are pure reskins of Pokemon characters. And it's just okay, Nintendo's known for not letting that slide.
Yeah.
Apparently, all Nintendo have gone. So someone tried to release. It wasn't the company behind Palworld. A separate company tried to release a mod so you could put actual Pokemon monsters into it. Nintendo shut that down pretty damn quickly. Otherwise, they've been like, "Yep, okay, go have your fun." I don't think people are going to confuse this with what we're selling. There's minimal weaponry in Pokemon. Some, Blastoise always had his cannons coming out this shell, but generally they're not made of they're not little mice with Gatling guns. That's the concept here. It's little mice and sheep with Gatling guns, and then you run around the island and you do everything else the same, but that's about it. It's been out for 5 days, 7 million sales across Steam and Xbox.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because obviously people have been like, this is batshit crazy. I need to check this out. They just announced as well that they've released their little roadmap for going forward. Look, they're putting a lot of work behind it. It's not just the cheap ripoff that I think everyone thought it was at first. The studio's actually cool. The concept's not that different to what Pokemon is. But, that was when Pokemon was out on TV when I was younger, Digimon was almost the exact ripoff. And I was there's always been something, the monster catching creator, I guess Monster Hunter kind of falls in that realm too. And, that's been massively successful. Look, they've got a roadmap for the next few months. They're developing PvP, endgame bosses. The big one, which it's good to see, is Steam / Xbox crossplay. So if you don't have Steam, but you've got the Microsoft on your PC, you can play it through that, or you can download it on your Xbox. And then, they're going to keep creating new locations, islands, they call them, and a bunch of new creatures too. So I'm happy to watch it. Happy to watch it grow. Happy to see what happens to it. But it's look, it makes me laugh. I think it's fucking hilarious. Pokemon guys, I was like, what kind of acid-fueled fever dream did they come up with that? Would love to have been in that development room when whatever they were taking was the result. It was here you go. Give Pikachu a Glock and see what fucking happens.
So my friend Kelvin got suggested this game on Steam. So he put in our chat similar games to you've played, and on Steam sort of lists similar games. Satisfactory and Valheim were what he threw up, and he said, that's dangerous. The only games that sucked me in more than these two was Space Engineers. He's got 98 hours on Satisfactory and 132 hours on Valheim. So
I reckon actually, I'll find out maybe throughout the course of this episode. My dad played the shit out of Satisfactory. I reckon he'd have at least 500 hours clocked up, and I'm not exaggerating.
Whoa.
yeah, I think
So-
Kel's only been playing it for like maybe a year or so. So, look out. Tom lost his lights.
He
I'm
looks
in the
he looks better
darkness.
like that. Yeah.
So, yeah, Kel was contemplating whether he should delve in on Palworld or not.
Yeah. Oh, we have lights.
Jesus Christ, it came back bright.
Fuck
Fuck off,
Nice.
dog.
And Dom's completely distracted himself.
What?
These are your news, man.
Fuck, whatever. No, this is serious stuff, and this is sad.
It
So
is.
this is the bit of the sad news. So gaming industry has unfortunately been hit by a massive hit of layoffs, and this sucks because on top of what we talked about a few weeks ago with development studios being hacked, then you got massive studios having to lay off a whole bunch of people. Like Unity, the guys, they're behind like some massive games, they're the software company behind that. 1,800 people, like that's a lot of people losing their job.
That's a lot of people.
They did most of the where I got this stuff from. They did actually have like percentages. That's like it was 12% of their like total staff, but still, that's still 1,800 people and it's just after Christmas. Like it's not a good time. Well, I mean, it's never a good time, but it's feels a bit shit that it's happening to them. And then some other big companies like Twitch, that was 500 people they had to lay off. The Thunderful Group that are out of Sweden, they had 100, but that was still like 30% of their employees. Discord, 170, and then Riot Games did 530. The only other one was Lost Boys Interactive, which is from they're part of Gearbox Interactive. They said they lost a sizable portion of its 400 employees, but they hadn't said how many. And that sucks. So it's not good. It's one of those instances where you'd hope that those guys people find jobs.
You've got to think that pool of people can't actually be that big. Like, I know there's a reasonable amount of games that come out, but you so often hear about these games coming out that are a couple of devs or one dev doing it. I mean, you look at 7 Days to Die that me and my friends have chucked a whole bunch of hours into.
Yeah,
it's like one dev or something like that, like doing that. And like, it's just, but
you also don't-
be that big a pool.
You also don't know what these people did, right? So obviously,
I guess, yeah.
if for Unity to have laid off 1,800 employees, they've got to have 5,000-6,000 staff, I would presume at least, and that's a fuckload of people in HR and accounting.
They did
and
say it was across a vast
PR.
spectrum of like departments in those gaming companies.
Yeah, I guess my brain just goes to the artist sitting in front of a computer.
Yeah, totally.
Making an animation for a game. Like that's where my brain goes. I don't think of these, and this isn't a slag in any way, shape, or form. I don't think of these companies as needing accountants, as needing HR people, as needing the like all of this. Extra
I think
bits
if
and pieces, but
Activision's shown us one thing over the last few years, the one thing the gaming companies need is
it's
HR departments. Yeah.
And look, and to be fair, Dan, I only said what I said because I jumped to the exact same conclusion when I was looking for work last Christmas, where I was hearing, Microsoft had laid off 10,000 employees in Australia alone. And it was when all of the blue chip tech companies were dumping fuckloads of staff. I think Apple was the only one that didn't out of any blue chip company. Google had shed 15,000 worldwide. The company formerly known as Twitter had shed a bunch. And I'm sitting there going, and I'm looking for fucking work. I'm never going to find a job with 10,000, 50,000 people. But then I started reading the stats, and it's like there's a shitload in, people in culture and PR and finance and accounting and all the rest of it. So, yeah.
some of those bullshit areas.
Yeah. Some of those guys that make posters and forget to put the name on.
Or they put goose instead of goza.
Yes.
Just a silly goose, yeah.
Fuck, that made me laugh when that photo
Sorry,
came through.
bit of an Aussie in joke there. Where there's a Drink West company that did a beer, a lime and something goza and they sold it off to a hotel, and the hotel's Instagram post was lime and such goose with an extra O in there. So
Yes.
I apologize. Pete can probably pull that Instagram post.
I will. Don't
Click
worry.
it on screen. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure
Anyway.
you actually posted it to our chat, so I've got a copy of it.
I did, yes.
Yeah. But yes, no, it's
It is sad.
It's
You're
one of
right.
those things that maybe, next time you're going to look for a game, go buy it straight from, if you can, like through some, like buy a physical copy rather than get it through a subscription service.
If you
Well,
can.
isn't that an interesting topic to bring up later on?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
potentially, yes. I may have forgotten something that we have spoken about.
Right. Continue.
Yeah, chef. Oscar nominations. The Oscars are out. I don't really give a flying fuck, but people do care about these things. They watch movies. I watch a movie occasionally. It's fun. You should try it sometime. The biggest one I think that everyone's gone on about has been the snubs. Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie were not given any nominations for their roles in Barbie, which I can't comment on because I haven't seen the film. But I've spoken to a lot of people who have seen it, and they're like, look, it's a pretty, in terms of the directors, one of the guys I spoke to today, he was saying it's pretty stacked in terms of directors, so it sucks. But, this is unfortunately what the Oscars is. It's not, it's a bunch of old dudes deciding what movies they think are the best.
It's a PR campaign thing, though.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
So how much money you spend on a campaign to win an award?
Gab's Hottest 100. Yeah.
Yes.
The other one was I still haven't seen Saltburn, but I've heard so many people talk about it. Barry Keoghan. Yep,
Manilow.
Barry.
Yeah.
Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow's role in Barry Keoghan's role in Saltburn apparently is amazing. Not one to watch. With
Not
parents,
amazing
though.
enough, though. Apparently.
Well, yeah, is that I liked it. I did like that. Paul Giamatti did get a nod for his role in Holdovers, which is a film I particularly enjoyed. So that was good to see. The cool ones, though, the ones that I did like, John Williams is now the oldest person to receive an Oscars nomination for his soundtrack for Indiana Jones. So at 91, he's the oldest person. He is also, I thought this was a cool stat, he is 5 nominations away from the most nominations for an individual at the Oscars. The person he's on 54, the person on 59 is Walt Disney himself.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's pretty big feat for one composer. The other good news about John Williams is I posted this chat very early on in the year, but he has said that he's no plans of actually retiring. He's done a Brady and come back. He's flipped on that one. So
He did a John Farnham. He's had 11
yeah, he's
final
doing
tours.
the John Williams farewell tour 2029. Sign me up. The other cool one is Godzilla -1 was nominated for Best Visual Effects, and that's the first time a Godzilla film has ever been nominated. So
Fuck yeah.
yeah,
Great.
I can't wait to watch that film. I missed it as
Yeah.
first, but
Me
yeah,
too.
I'm fucking excited for it. And that's, I think, Pete, you're up. I need sippy cup.
You're batter. My dad just came back and said he has just over 2,000 hours in Satisfactory.
Jesus.
2,000 hours.
He's been
He
playing it
obviously-
since it was first released.
I was going to say, he probably doesn't play anything else, but
Oh,
2,000 hours.
He plays Guild Wars 2 with my mum all day.
Aw, that's adorable.
And my mum never really touched computers when we were kids growing up, playing every game under the sun.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, when Dad retired, they just started playing video games, and that's.
I
what
really
they
hope
do.
your mum kicks his ass in Guild Wars too.
God, that is 83 days worth of playing Satisfactory.
Yeah, it's probably over the space of like 5 or 6 years. It's not a new game.
I'm guessing to your dad then
I
the game
know.
is satisfactory.
But still.
Oh God! And it is a resource gathering and
Yeah.
manufacturing game. So some of those hours I don't know, but some of those hours might be where he's left his laptop on in the background while he's watching TV to manufacture. I don't know.
He's doing the rubber banding. Got it.
So,
Innocent until proven guilty.
It's a valid tactic, bro. Don't go be like that.
Not a valid vasectomy pathway though. CD Projekt Red. I think we have the rubber banding method. No, CD Projekt Red. We have talked about The Witcher 4. Was that? Yeah, right.
Dan's doing home jobs.
It's Dr. Nick. So we have talked about Witcher 4 production. I didn't actually realize that Polaris is the codename for a whole new trilogy of games. It's not the codename for the first of the new trilogy. It's the whole trilogy. So clearly that's covering it. They've stated that they'll have 400 devs, at least 400 developers slated to be hired by mid-2024 now that they've entered primary production phase.
Mm-hmm.
They did a study, interestingly, on AI and how it might help them improve their development path, and basically came back after this focus group and said they will look to leverage AI tools to help them improve certain processes throughout the development cycle, but it's never going to replace people for them, which I think for that particular studio is fucking phenomenally good news for us, because they are a studio who are well known for making narrative-driven content the king of the game.
Yes.
It is the selling point. Meanwhile, they plan to have 80 staff at least working on the sequel to Cyberpunk by the end of the year. I don't think we've talked about a sequel to Cyberpunk.
Unreal 5. They're moving everything. They're moving everything to Unreal 5. They're ditching Red Engine, and they're doing the Witcher sequels and Cyberpunk 2 in Unreal 5, which I think is a fantastic move.
Fucking oath. Totally agree. Totally
They don't have to buggerize around on the back end with the
Just focus on game content.
That's it. And you do. We know, and they obviously know they do this well.
Yep.
So let's use an engine that is there. Let somebody else develop the engine, and let's just fucking roll with it. And I think that's a fucking fantastic view to have.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally agree. Dad just came out because I went back to him in 2000. He does Rubber Band. Not all playing would leave the game running. He likes to build factories and set up train networks. He's running in shorthand because he knows we're recording. I've seen some of his train networks. They're pretty fucking impressive.
Oh, I've seen some Satisfactory stuff, and it's incredible that somebody has built that in the game.
Yeah.
Like just the mind that it takes to use the bits and pieces that you're given to do that in the game. It's fucking nuts.
Well, it's basically it's like Minecraft. That's the attraction to Minecraft, which is a game I've actually never played. But it's funny because I was describing the building and mining and manufacturing engine in Starfield, and Dad was basically laughing at me. It's like, let's just fucking try Satisfactory, man. That's how that shit works.
Yeah, take your trainer's wheels off and come and play Satisfactory on easy mode.
Yeah. Dan's game of 2023, the day before. Developers Fantastic, are now claiming that it wasn't their fault that the game fell apart. They blame content creators and influencers instead for giving negative reviews and criticism after the game was released.
That is just fantastic. Like, that is just
pun intended?
Wasn't, but let's roll with it. That is just
one,
the biggest deflection and the
cop out, man.
It's a cop out, but I think it goes further than a cop out. It just shows that you are so egotistical that you can't just go, you know what?
Hands up. We fucked up.
We fucked up.
It's I would say narcissistic. It's just the impossibility to hear information that shows that you're the problem. It's just sour grapes. They flat out said, I mean, this was supposed to be a survival MMO game, and when it finally released or launched on December, it was the first week of December. I have it in my memory that it was the 2nd of December. It might not have been.
Something like that, yeah.
That it didn't actually have it wasn't a survival MMO at all. It was more like what do they call it?
It was an extraction shooter.
Yes, an extraction shooter, which is a totally different type of game. And so they didn't deliver on the fucking promise, notwithstanding all of the blatant plagiarism. And so for them to turn around and blame fucking content creators, like, all of the reasons to hide behind too, a bunch of fucking 12-year-olds doing ridiculous TikTok dance in public is not the place to lay blame for a development studio fucking up a video game.
This is going to be
7th of December. It was 46 days. It was alive.
I'm going to say that this is going to be one of those, and I've called it before. This is going to be the gift that keeps giving. Like, this is going to come up continuously for years, and I know, like, this is going to be the I don't remember which one's the good, the yin or the yang, but this is going to be the yin or the yang to the Leroy Jenkins joke. Like, it's going to be the thought. Is it a day before? Is it a Leroy Jenkins? Like that is its par. Like it's going to be.
Well, yeah. When you really fuck something up, you're like, fuck, I've day before'd it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which will roughly translate to blame the fucking 12-year-old in the next room.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. He Dad just said he's also
as long as those Pete, you're gonna have to set your marker here because as long as those don't get any more money from this shit, like
no, they had to refund all sales.
They did good because they don't deserve a fucking cent.
Even if you bought the game and you still had a copy of it, you could go in. But now 46 days is when they shut down the servers, so you actually can't get online to play it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think if you had a copy still and you tried to boot it up, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Was one of the other games you mentioned on Kelvin's list Space Engineers?
Valheim. Oh yeah, so Kel loves Space Engineers. He's built some really great stuff. I haven't seen it, but he's told me about how it all works. So
yeah, so he's got 200 plus hours in that, and then Valheim he's played a shitload of as well.
Yeah.
That's just his shtick. Those types of games.
Man, I want to be retired like your dad.
Yep, down the deep south of New South Wales, where it's never this fucking hot.
I want to be a mix of your dad and my dad. Your dad plays video games all day. My dad drinks like a bottle of gin a day, and he's still kicking it like 60.
Healthy as an ox.
70 something. Like he's got type 2 diabetes, so I wouldn't say healthy as an ox, but he wears a compression sock on his left leg every day just so he doesn't lose it. But I mean,
but he's hale. Is your point?
He's happy.
Yeah. You guys remember the omnidirectional treadmill, the VR treadmill in Ready Player One? So
yes.
A dude at Disney has invented the real world version of it, and it is legit. So he's demonstrated the technology, was actually being inducted into some innovation award, like Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but the only downside of this, Pete, is now it's going to see the demise of watching old people try VR and running headfirst into walls.
Pulling
every cable out with them,
or punching TV off the wall.
Yeah, or punching the TV. Yeah, that's the other one that you frequently see. But so these guys are like, they didn't show any running, but they claimed that it can handle running. But they're walking in the spot, and these are flat rollers, so it doesn't look like a series of fucking wheels. They're flat rollers somehow. And as he's walking, these rollers are pushing him back to the center of this panel. It's like the real life Star Trek fucking holodeck. You stick VR goggles on, and
HR goggles on.
Yeah.
Oh, Pete and his HR Gaia world. I do not want to see that world of big.
You went to a different place.
Alien vaginas.
We just put a tube in it, man. There's a tube in the ass and the tube in the vag, and now we've got a HR Geiger image. Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's a Geiger image. It definitely is. We can't call you on that
one. Superman Legacy. We talked about it. We were late to the party.
Speaking of aliens.
I was late to the party on Superman Legacy because I was announcing that they had cast Superman, but they'd actually cast him like fucking 9 months ago.
I obviously was very sick when you guys recorded that Taintmas episode, and I was sitting there in my car to or from work. I don't know which one it was, but I'm like, they fucking named him. Like, he's there. There's an actor already, guys. It's like, I can't text you guys, and it's not live, so it doesn't matter if I text you. But
yeah, corn sweat.
Though, because I used to do that to you guys. I'd be like, I'm listening in the park. Oh, you got this wrong. Oh, you also got this wrong. We need to change that.
You're a bunch of fucking noobs. They've actually cast almost everyone, and I got to say, I'm actually I'm digging the lineup. I think so. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I didn't recognize the name, but when I looked him up, he's fucking perfect for Lex.
This Holt's great.
He's in Renfield, which I still need to watch.
Yeah, but he
was Beast in X-Men.
Oh, you know what I'm like with names, right?
Oh, you're fucking terrible.
Yeah. Nathan Fillion as Green as fucking Guy Gardner.
Is that officially done though? I thought that was a big old rumor. Is that officially being cast?
Yes.
Okay. So that's been Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner has been something that people have been calling for probably
decade,
10 years. Yeah. It's been one of those things. But I still stand by my call last episode. It needs to be the Reacher dude. But anyway,
Yeah.
I like Nathan
Rickton.
Fillion.
Alan
Yeah.
Rickton. Yeah.
Everyone wants him to be Batman now.
No,
Yeah, we talked about that last
called
episode.
No.
And so the person that they haven't cast, or the character they haven't cast, is Supergirl. They have now started screen tests, and they've narrowed it down to 2. Meg Donnelly, who has voiced Supergirl in a few things, but Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 is a recent animated movie that she voiced her for. And she's in the Disney's Zombies movies. It looks aimed at like teens, so I've certainly not seen it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, very.
Okay.
She looks very classic. Like she looks like the classic Supergirl.
Classic Kara.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the second person they're choosing between is her and Millie Alcock, who played the young Rhaenyra Targaryen in House of the Dragon recently. She's a very striking looking actress.
Oh, she's Australian too.
She is Australian. So it's going to be interesting to see which direction they kind of fall here, because Millie, she just looks distinctive. There's something about her that's just unusual.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to be, but I like the rest of the cast.
You know what? She looks very much like. So I have a Batman tattoo on my leg, and Mike Turner is the artist. Unfortunately, he passed away because I was very much hoping that he would appear at a Aussie Comic Con or something.
So you could show him the tab.
Showing him his artwork on my leg. But the Aussie Millie
Alcock
looks very much like Mike Turner's version of Supergirl.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
I think she'd work. I really do. But she would just be she would not be the classical Supergirl, like blonde, blue-eyed.
Well, she is blonde.
All-American. Well, is she naturally blonde? Because in House of the Dragon, she's fucking white-haired, obviously. And she's brunette in some other shit that I've seen.
I think if you punch Mike Turner Supergirl into Google, you'll get... I'm not sure where you're going with that one, Peter.
I just stopped it. If you punch Mike,
okay.
My head went somewhere else. So
I don't know. There's something about the way her chin is like.
She's a very distinctive,
triangular. Yeah,
very distinctive jawline. Yeah,
I just think that she really, really does the Mike Turner. Like, obviously, Mike Turner's Supergirl anatomy is she's rail thin. Is not realistic, but I think the facial features, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, I think she really nails that Mike Turner Supergirl look.
This is pre-New 52, I'm presuming these.
Oh yeah, this is
well before. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Superman versus Batman.
Oh right,
Batman versus Superman, the comic run.
Yep.
Supergirl was a great, fantastic run of comic.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Fucking rail. Yeah.
Unrealistic early 2000s artwork, but a fantastic run of comic books. You can get in a trade paperback or graphic novel.
Yep.
And Darkseid corrupts Supergirl. Kara, at the very start of the graphic novel, Kara ends up on Earth. They've done an animated movie.
I was going to say I know this storyline. I'm just not sure which media I consumed it in.
Yeah, so they really cut it down for the movie, which they had
with Dan around. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that might have been.
It's my favorite cartoon medium.
And I mean, it's got one of the most badass Batman moments in it, where like Batman confronts Darkseid on Acropolis because they go to rescue Kara, and Batman confronts Darkseid and goes, "Look, you give her back, or I have planted bombs across the entire planet. That if you do not do this, I will detonate the entire thing and kill us all." And Darkseid just walks up to him and goes, "You know what? If it had been the Kryptonian, I wouldn't have believed it. But
I've read this.
You know what? Fuck you. Okay, I believe you. Here she is."
Yep, I've definitely read that panel.
It's the most badass Batman moment.
Don't fuck with Bruce.
Ever put to media. Yeah.
Abrams has confirmed that they're still in development of the parallel Elseworlds Superman, where they cast a black Superman.
Yeah, cool.
So that's still happening as well, which I
That's
think would be
with,
really interesting.
The author Coates, he wrote a whole bunch of really good comics. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah. I saw an article. I didn't click on it. I don't know why I didn't click on it. Where they were asking Gunn if Abrams was still able to develop it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So he's confirmed that that's still in development. They have also said in this one that so Superman Legacy, they're going in a interesting new different direction for the suit.
Earth 23 is the Black Superman.
Okay. I've never seen the Black Superman in comic. Like, I'm really interested to see if they've muted the outfit any, or if they've made it brighter or changed the color palette any. Because obviously you get different contrasts with the change in color of skin. I'd just be interested to see what they did with the design.
The design's quite different. There's been a few iterations of it, and I've seen quite a few. But it's the
image I saw today on the article looked really like the Injustice Superman.
Yeah, okay.
Suit with that the high collar.
Yeah, I was going to say it popped. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Well, that's a New 52 Superman was the pop collar. Big S. So he's got the God. What was the?
That's the symbol for hope, Dan. It's not an S.
The Kingdom Come. It's
like a river. It's like a river. Kingdom Come Superman. So it's the S is very much like the Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. It's just shaping up to be another 3-hour episode. I can feel it already.
I was just thinking, as you two are fucking ranting about Superman suits and Supergirl, I was just
you can park your ass in your 30-minute Are You Winning?
2-hour episode, everyone. 2-hour episode.
Just time.
Wait till you get to the end with your Are You Winning, son? And here's the 54 games I played this week.
I wish.
Right.
I wish.
Someone's driving a car somewhere.
Oh, this is great. This is great. Yeah, it's fun. It's just a fun.
I don't know that it is.
Nah, it's not real. It is real. So Sony drove a car on stage. Sony and Honda have paired up. They're working on a new mobility software called Afeela. Afeela. And so
yeah, I'm with Dan on this one.
Hey, Afeela. Anyway, they drove a car on stage using a DualSense controller. And I was like, that's fun. That's just developers going, you know what?
No, that's going to get someone killed. I'm telling you now.
They're not mass releasing it. They said it was a gag.
Okay.
Also, that I drive better in a DualSense than I do with a steering wheel when I play games.
Yeah,
obviously,
but the damage model's a lot better in real life, Tom.
Hey, man, this is asking for trouble when people start playing Doom on their fucking their nav man in their center console, and they're driving the car with the fucking controller as well. It's like for 2 seconds forget you're not playing Doom.
Well, no, because Sony's already thought about this because you can't pair your Sony headphones to two things at once. You got to pair one. So the same with the DualSense. You can only pair it to the car or to the center console.
You could be listening to the Doom soundtrack while driving, though. I don't know.
Don't do that either. Do not do that. Know from experience.
I'll never forget getting into my car after playing hours and hours of Project Gotham Racing when I was much, much younger. I'm telling you now, if I wasn't in a shitbox Lancer with an engine capacity less than my bottles of milk, I would have killed myself. So, yeah, that's just all kinds of bad. The next piece of news. Dan,
wait a minute. That is cool. I do very much like that he drove a car with a fucking DualSense.
It was just a bit of fun, but it was also it was their statement on creative uses of technology, and it was like the dude went at the end.
For mobility purposes.
This is not going to be a thing. He was like very much disclaimer.
Yeah,
this is
Don't
us
try this
mucking
at home,
around,
folks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 100% going to be a thing. Why wouldn't it be?
Well, if they're going driverless,
But why would you not allow a paraplegic to drive a car with a fucking DualSense? If that's what they're used to and they can drive it that way, why not? Like, what different control measures is there for someone using one method over another one?
Considering you can buy motorbikes right now that are set up for one hand or other hand, and I think one leg or other leg too. So they've got ways of dealing with the brake or the gear shifter being relocated to a different control arm area. So why not?
For the new generation, maybe not for us old farts, but for the new generation, it absolutely makes perfect sense. to make driving a car with a fucking game controller.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely perfect.
I mean, you look.
In fact, they
that-
should change it to just a fucking iPhone 36 or whatever.
Yeah.
And shoot, drive with Candy Crush.
Bond did that in
Yeah.
the Beamer, and he drove it off the roof. He was using his phone. Yeah.
Yeah. Next one.
definitely.
This is
no,
old news, but it's new for us.
Oh no, I just put it in there because I just didn't know how much you wanted to pad out this section, but I don't think we need to pad out this
I
section.
think we need to padding out.
So I think we can skip that one because we don't need to talk about Rebel Moon anymore. The only one that pissed me off in the
this
last
pissed
week,
me off too.
this fucking Ubisoft wants you to be comfortable with not owning your physical media. And they want you to be comfortable with digital media. And they didn't say physical media. They want you to be not comfortable owning your media.
They were
So
reminding people of what we were talking about several episodes ago, which is that you have never owned your movies, your TV shows, or your video games. You've only ever owned a temporary license that they can revoke at any time they want.
So they're now talking about you need to be comfortable having a subscription. And if we want to remove that game you're playing from like a Netflix movie,
Suck my fat cock.
We're going to take this off for the next 12 months. You can't play it for the next 12 months. Too fucking bad. It's like, no, sorry, Pete.
That's all right.
My bad.
I knew it was coming, to be honest.
No, if I buy
So
that
uncouth.
media, that is mine. And I still want, and we've spoken about this many a times, especially when it came around Disney not doing physical copies and they're only releasing physical copies of The Mandalorian in the US, which I plan to hunt down while I'm in there in
Boston.
This year.
Yep.
It's just bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. You cannot take something that somebody's paid for away if they're paying.
This has been
for,
on the cards, Dan, since they were forcing you to have an online subscription to PlayStation Network or Xbox Live for a single-player game.
and I've argued this from day dot.
Yep.
Like it's crap.
Oh, yeah.
It
What was
is
that called? The not DRS. That's from.
DRM.
Digital Rights Management, DRM.
Yeah. I remember that whole thing.
It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And like
They're all like that now, though.
We need to go as a community against this. Indie games, I get.
Buy indie games.
Indie games that don't have the ability to produce physical media, and the only way you can pay and support these devs is through buying them through digital media. Fucking do it. You need to support these people being creative and buying. And they're more. These indie devs are more creative than the Ubisoft people. And this is not ragging shit on people that are creating stuff for Ubisoft. This is ragging shit on the management decisions of Ubisoft, not the people creating the content. They cannot do this. And we need to, as a community, stand up and go, no, we will not buy your shit. No, we will not subscribe to your shit because we want to own this stuff and we want to play it on our terms, not your terms. And you can go get fucked.
I only want to pay you once. That's the resounding message, right? I'll pay. We've had to pay $110, $120 for premium AAA titles at release for a while. I know it's come down more over the last couple of years, but it got pretty fucking high at one stage. I'm only going to pay you once. If you want more of my money, then invest more time and sell me a DLC, but fucking sell it to me with, Valkyrie being free, for example. You've got to pitch it to me. You have to earn my fucking money, though, is the point.
You mean Valhalla, but yeah.
Valhalla, sorry. Valkyrie, yeah. You fight the Valkyries and then you went to
Valhalla. There's Valkyries in Valhalla, but yeah.
They don't feature.
But you have to earn my fucking dollar.
Yeah.
You earned 120 of them when I bought your goddamn game. I'm not going to pay you a monthly subscription after that point on top.
And if you want a monthly subscription, be innovative. I can't say
innovative.
And constantly be creating new content for it. If you want to do something that is worth subscribing to, that's going to be updated and a proper, and I say this in a very shit term, live service game that is going to be good and have something that is worth coming to, then yes, people will subscribe and you will win. Yep. But if you want to just fucking drip feed this same fucking dirty fucking swamp water that you want to just throw a little bit of clean water in every now and then just feed it to us again. No, fuck you.
Well,
totally
I think the big thing comes down to what you were just talking about is stop moving everything to a live service model. It's
not going to stop though. We're not the target audience anyway.
I know.
That's the problem with the world.
But that's a real. That's I think a real thing. Like
it's pitched at people that didn't.
I didn't put it in the news, but I don't know if you guys saw that the Suicide Squad from Rocksteady has announced its first DLC is a Joker. It made me want the game even less.
The first playable character that they've released announced.
The add-on.
Sorry. Yes. DLC playable character.
The game already looked like a heap of shit anyway. I was never really going to pick it up. But if it popped up on PS Plus, then I'd probably be like, I'll give it a go. Like I'm thinking about that with Arkham Knights. But watching that thing, I was just, and the way they were... Gotham Knights, yes. And watching the way that they were talking about and how like trying to sound excited they were about it. And I was like, it looks A, fucking horrible. And B, nauseating the way that they're constantly flipping around that. I was like, I don't really get motion sickness, but I think I might if I played that game for more than half an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
anyway, I think we should salve this major fucking dumpster fire with another beer.
Excellent.
I'm going to pay you while you do yours.
We got 10 minutes left before break. What are you drinking? No. Dan doesn't. Thimbellini here doesn't. What are you drinking, Tom?
I'm having a beer from the Northern Beaches, Freshwater's Freshy Hazy.
Freshy Hazy.
It is a 4.4% hazy pale ale. Again, I'm just kind of keeping it light tonight because I'm not that well mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Look, it's tropical citrus. It pours a nice cloudy hazy. It's not too thick. It's still nice and light. It's enjoyable. This is definitely not a way of saying it in a bad way, and I don't think they're ripping it off, but it really is something that I would give. This is the kind of hazy pale I'd give to the person who comes up and says, I only drink Stone and Wood. Like, fucking have this then.
Yep.
It's not a clone in any way.
Yep.
It's not not a clone. It is their own beer. It is very much different to a Stone and Wood, but it is one of those, like, this is the kind of hazy pale that you would give to someone who's like, I'm not sure. I've only really had this. And you go, cool. This is a great little gateway drug. Gateway drug. We love that term in the beer community. Yeah. But yeah, it's got really nice tropical citrus note. It's lingers a little bit. It's not too lingering around the palate. Otherwise, it's not that much more remarkable, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. This is a beer that you could probably have a 4-pack of and be very happy of.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And I'm going to give that a 4.25. That is very nice. Yeah.
Nice. I'll give Dan a chance to actually fucking pour, let alone try his. So I'm drinking Brewdog's Hop Fiction Hazy Pale. Lovely bright pink can, jumps off the shelf. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a 4% hazy pale, so it's pretty light on, which is exactly what you want on a hot summer's day. It's a lawnmower beer, I think, is a really good way to put it. It's not loud, if you like. It's exactly what you want out of a low ABV, a lower ABV hazy pale.
Yeah.
Description: it's fruity, juicy, action-packed hazy pale ale starring an unforgettable ensemble cast of hops, barley, and oats. Expect steamy tropical scenes, fruity performances, all backed up with a soft malt soundtrack. And that's pretty much
that was the biggest load of fucking wank I've heard in a long time.
Really, in a long time with the shit that you fucking read, really?
Yeah, I know. I read some pretty bad beer descriptions, but fuck, that was well done, Brewdog.
It's that's
inoffensive. Why I didn't read the back of this can.
Yeah, I hear you. Look, this is inoffensive. It's got a bit of tropical juice in it. I'm getting pineapple notes out of it, like pineapple juice notes out of it. But it's not too loud. It's quite thin, but then I suspect that's just because it's 4%. And it's exactly what you'd probably want out of something you're going to drink a 6-pack of in a session. Yeah. And therefore, I would describe it as sessionable. I'm going to give it a 4. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4. Dan, did you have a big dark beer? Looked like a big dark beer. Nope.
Darkest beer I've ever seen.
Was it in a black can at least?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I saw.
Very cool. I have Big Shed Brewing from South Australia, People's Brew. It's their hazy New Zealand IPA. Oh, God, sorry. Light's really bad. Getting this up to the screen.
Oh, it's very silver in the middle there, yeah.
Yeah. The
5.9%?
6.5.
Okay, sorry.
It's a very sort of Soviet era label, the People's Brew.
The People's Brew.
So before we get to the beer, I want to voice my opinion on the label. I like the artwork. I love this kind of retro sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Fallout does it all the time with this kind of style of artwork. I think it's really well done. Fuck people. If you're going to have a label that meets at the back,
meet at
the back, but the artwork doesn't align.
Yeah.
Like if it's meant
right.
to be a 360 fucking artwork, make it a 360 artwork. Make it align at the back and continue on. I'm nitpicking. Like that's a ridiculous thing to say, but it's just it's.
But
just
here we are at Pixels and Pints, and that's all we say. Dan. It's ridiculous shit. So what was the style? Sorry, it was a hazy.
It's a hazy
IPA.
NZ IPA.
Okay,
it's
that's what I'm craving.
I'm
craving diesel.
It's not super hazy. You guys want to gap fill for a sec while I?
Sure. I was going to say I don't know why, but I was craving a nice diesely New Zealand hop backed IPA, and I just couldn't find one in the mass chain that I happen to be in.
I was going to put in a really obscure Thomas the Tank Engine reference there, but I'm glad I didn't.
It definitely
fat controller. Sorry, not bleeping it. You can eat a dick.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good one to leave in. I think that's it. Definitely has that character, Pete. This has been sitting out for a little too long, and I mean the hop character is great. It is really. It's got that diesely, funky New Zealand hop character to it, and the fact that it's been sitting out for what now 30 or 40 minutes. I had it in a beer cooler, a very old Australian brewery beer cooler, to keep it kind of cold. For 40 minutes on what is probably 28 degrees in my study here, it's an incredibly well-made beer. Like it's like the base beer on it is super clean. There's no faults to it. There's no oxidization to it. The bitterness is really bang on for that New Zealand hop character to hold that funk all the way through. When I say funk, I don't mean super funk, but you've got that background blue cheese character from those New Zealand hop characters, and that diesely, fuely, not like snip. And this is going to sound ridiculous to people that don't drink these beers.
You haven't even said it, and I already know it's going to sound ridiculous.
What's that?
Because I heard sniffing.
Well, diesel, like that. When you're talking about these diesely characters, it's not overpowering. It's not like smelling a petrol station. It's a very faint whiff, but a very pleasant whiff of that diesely funk, and it's really well blended.
It's an oil more than anything. Like it's got an oil note to it. Yeah,
and I would actually have liked to have drunk this a little bit colder because I think that character, it would be more like the lawnmower beer. It would have been more wanky term here, quaffable. It would have been really smashable. It would have been really, hey, I want to just fucking keep drinking.
I want to quaff this.
I can't quite do it because the stem of my glass is a little too big, but
that's all right. I can. Let me quaff this. Coughing.
It's a really nice product. A really, really good beer. Outside of my bitchiness about the labeling, a really good label and a really nice New Zealand.
A really good label for 75% of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't call it a New Zealand hazy IPA. I would call it.
It didn't look very hazy.
No, it's not super hazy, and I wouldn't necessarily ping it in that IPA category, other than the alcohol content. But it's a very, very nice beer, and if you want something New Zealand, fucking grab it.
Cool. So we have about 5 minutes left in our first hour, and we need to get through some trailers. I'm going to talk really quickly. Slow. So we had Xbox January Developer Direct conference. They showed a bunch. Yeah, bunch of new trailers.
Fumbled at the start.
Yeah, bunch of new trailers. Shut up. Have come out, including some.
Really reminds me of
slick gameplay of Avowed. Have you seen the Avowed gameplay? It
looks exactly like Skyrim.
It looks
No,
like a Todd.
it doesn't.
No, I disagree. It looks like a
Cross
dodgy version of Skyrim.
Cross between
No.
Skyrim and Harry Potter.
Yes,
No.
yes, that's what I got.
You know, you guys might never have played it, but it looks like a modern version of
You say Hexen.
Might and Magic Dark Messiah. I was waiting.
Ooh.
Did not play
Might
that
and
one, no.
Magic Dark Messiah
Allow me
was
to refresh
a
my memory.
fucking fantastic game. I think Sui or Kelvin got me onto it back in the day. It might have been Sui. Actually, no, it was probably Kel because me and Kel are always on that fantasy game side. It was great. It was like it's super dodgy these days, but
I'm
It's
not
like an
saying that-
Ultima Online or a Ultima game.
I'd
before
play
it was Ultima
Avowed.
Online.
I'd play Avowed if I had the system to play it. I
You
think
can
it
borrow
looks cool.
mine. I never use it since
I'm
fuck
good.
you Skyrim and
all,
Todd Howard.
all I got was Might and Magic Dark Messiah. I was waiting to kick people onto spiked walls. You could walk up to that. Like you were climbing like the ledge going up a cliff, like up a mountain. And you were coming, like a guard was just innocently standing on the edge of this treacherous pathway. You would walk up behind him, and the kick mechanic in that game, look it up when you get on YouTube later on. The
Spartan kick.
Oh, it was 100%. It was the Spartan kick before the Spartan kick was a thing, because you would just walk up behind these dudes and you would just boot them, and they would go about 5 meters before they started to fall. And it was the most realistic and overpowered kick system in a game. But the actual aesthetic of it absolutely screamed Might and Magic Dark Messiah to me. And
It was.
I love that game, so I thought it looked really good.
Look, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. They've talked about game mechanics where, I mean, look, every fucking RPG says, you know, the outcome of your quest will directly affect the world around you. Literally every fucking RPG developer has said that in the last 10 years. But they did talk about some interesting moral choices. They said that they've put a focus on ambiguity in terms of morals, so everything's kind of morally ambiguous in quests. I know Witcher does a fucking brilliant job of that, so they got some competition.
Well, Dark Messiah, Might and Magic Dark Messiah, you were literally the bad guy. You were the Dark Messiah.
Yeah, yep. And the other thing was they've placed a focus on making it very easy to respec your character, so you're not locked into sword and board or and pistols. They've got fucking dual wielding pistols, like flintlock pistols. So it's going to be interesting to see. You know, it might be a mishmash of genres and not work, or it might be brilliant.
So we go back to the moral system of Fable, where you either got demon horns or a halo. Let's go back to just
It's been a few of those games.
plain and simple.
There was a Korean, South Korean. I don't know. I don't really need to specify that it was South Korean because we don't get a lot of video games from North Korea.
From North Korea. Yeah.
You guys don't? I get all my video games from North Korea.
It was a South Korean
Hail the Rocket Man.
MMORPG.
That should be the North Korean Hail the Rocket Man.
Anyway, Indie was the other one that came out, and the Great Circle gameplay teaser was released, showing a first-person indie game with third-person cutscenes. There was a lot of discussion around whether this was.
I read more
first.
into that. They did say it'd be third person for some of the traversal scenes as well.
Yeah, which is very much
Which makes sense.
Which is in line with what I've said further on, which is it does include Uncharted style puzzle mechanics to traverse, and so those traversals would need to be in third person. That's kind of a Tomb Raider-y kind of mechanic, the way that I read it. Lots of shooting mechanics, fisticuffs, and his whip. I did see one scene where he managed to prevent a bullet from damaging him with his whip, which I found a little eyebrow raising in a bad way.
It was seconds, but I saw that too.
Also, that plane jump was the most unrealistic plane wing jump.
Yeah. But that was very Wolfenstein.
Yes. So in development from Machine Games, who brought us the last 4 Wolfenstein games. So there was 3 normal ones and 1 other one. Yeah, I didn't play any of the Wolfensteins yet.
So I just want to jump in. So the first, like, I had a lot to say in the group about whether I think it should be first or third. The mishmash of both. My only complaint about Deus Ex, the human revolution, human evolution, whatever it was the cutting between first person
Was
shooting
too abrupt.
and third person cover mechanics, and it throws you out because your center of gravity with the screen changes.
Because suddenly you're over your own shoulder again. Yeah,
that's exactly it. So, and one of those things in the indie trailer was him whipping to a point, swinging down, dropping down to a soldier, and then cutting back to first person, punching that guy and then going straight into the other guy. It does not work like that because let me rephrase that. My brain does not work like
I
that.
agree.
My center of gravity is looking this way when we're swinging, and then we're looking at that way when we're coming. And I'm going
don't disagree.
a down angle and then a straight angle.
But there's a lot of latitude that video game developers have in the way that they recenter their screen and how long they take. And there's some micro adjustments that they might be able to adjust for it. You just don't know how it's going to play out. If it could be jarring or it could be quite, organic.
I mean, honestly, I would just, if I was in charge of that studio, I'd be like, why aren't we doing this just third person?
If I was in charge of that studio, I wouldn't have sold
indie. Yeah.
I wouldn't have sold myself to Microsoft and we'd still have a fucking PlayStation version of the game. Because fuck you, this game was being developed for all platforms, and then Bethesda sold to MS and dropped PlayStation support.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt your rant there, Pete.
No, that's fine.
I'm going back to what Tom said. It's third person. I completely agree. I think third person is the way they should have gone with it. Yeah. But pick one. If you
100%. Yeah.
Like if you want to go first person, first person works. Fucking Mirror's Edge was the most disorientating and vomit inducing when you started to play it. First person wall running, but I thought it was great. I loved it.
That was that. I don't know if I ever told you guys. There was that game that I played that I only lasted 5 minutes, and I deleted it from my library. It was Ghost Runner. Edge. No, it was Ghost Runner.
Oh, see, I've got that. I'm going to play it because I think
I fucking hated it. I literally, if it had a CD, I would have snapped it. I was like, this is stupid. I hate you.
I don't own this media either. Fuck you. Sorry.
No, I just think that you pick one because the jarring movement, the jarring movement to go from third to first and back again is. I like the cinematic view of third person, and I understand where they're going with it, and I hope it's great. And once again, I love machine games. I've loved the first two Wolfensteins. I haven't played the third. I think they're really great at what they do and really contained areas. I'm fucking glad it's a linear story. Indie needs to be a linear focused story. All the movies have been linear focused stories. Point A to point B to point C to point D.
Literally, a red line from point A to point B
literally,
to point C.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
So, I love that that's what it's going to be. And absolutely hats off to these guys that have done the Wolfenstein games. And they create incredible cinematic moments in their first-person views. So I just wish they would have stuck to that.
I just think the whip mechanic looks really odd in the first person. I don't know. It really throws me. Watching that trailer, it made me think of a bad VR presentation.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I like the idea of chucking something extra in like that is character orientated. But I now that you've said that, that's what the oddity for me was looking at that was a weird cringe VR. Hey, let's flick the Move controller out like that.
Yeah.
Or the Wii controller.
So anyway, I was going to rush through that section, but...
hey, some things are worth talking about, motherfucker.
Yeah, games that we'll never play because we don't own fucking Xboxes, motherfucker.
Hey, I got a PC and it'll play
it on PC, yeah.
I just want to... I'm going to rip through these. So I watched Netflix Avatar...
Wait. Whoa. Pull back, asshole. You bought a fucking Xbox to play Starfield. You own an Xbox. You have no right to make that call.
But if I had spent 15 minutes talking about it.
No. You have absolutely no fucking stance to stand there and say, we don't own the platform as a platform. Tom is the only one that can make that fucking call because you and me both have a platform that can run it. So you shut the fuck up and you don't edit any of this out.
I'm not going
to. Leave it in.
Troy Baker is voicing Indiana Jones. That was the last little piece. Sorry, Tom.
I was going to say I thought Troy's voice was pretty good.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I didn't mind the character model they had for Indy though as well. I thought it was pretty okay.
His teeth were weird. There was too many dark spots.
Hey, look, at least it's not an Ubisoft title where their head turns inside out.
Yeah, well,
he had a lot of red wine before that scene. That's why he had all the red stains in his teeth. It was just he had a nice bottle of Merlot, before he got on the flight.
That's exactly what it looked like, Tom. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Apparently, it's set between. So this is going to be Todd Howard claiming this. It's set between Temple of Doom and Raiders of the Lost Ark because he's had this idea in his head for years and years and years, and it's all his idea and blah 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 wank wank
This
wank.
sounds like a Rebel Moon
Guys are
waiting
fucked.
to happen.
I can't say.
There was another
Something
indie
like that.
game
That out.
on the.
Yep.
There was an indie game on the Wii. I remember it ages and ages ago, and I think it was meant to be the similar thing. It was set sometime between the first and the third movie, and it was just. It was the thing. It was the same thing. It was like you meant to use the Wiimote to crack the whip, and it was horrible. Continue as you were.
Is it? I did own a Wii. I should.
Yeah.
I think
Let's get
on
some
that.
trailers, Pete.
No. I think we're going to take a break. We're going to have to. I'm going to cut some of that content out and not talk about it until next episode. It's supposed to be getting shorter. So, thoughts,
All right.
Tom?
Well-
Are you gonna fight me, or are we going to break?
The dictator has decided. Well, who am I to oppose Doctor Doom over here? Fucking
Indiana
hell.
Jones and the Staff of Kings.
So, Tom, fucking Dan's still stuck on Indy. It's the 25-minute
Name
topic.
the dog Indy.
Yes, we quite literally named the dog Indy.
Yeah, you fucking did.
Absolutely, literally named the dog Indy.
All right, let's cut the trailers.
Leave it all in.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not going anywhere, man. I'm minded of my Charlemagne.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Sanity is like gravity. All it needs is a little push.
And we're back. I'm leaving that in. So fuck you.
Yeah, leave it in. No context.
No. Who's got a beer to talk about?
Oh, I have some theatre around mine. So, shall we start with this? Oh,
I was really
As long as
hoping.
it
I was
doesn't go over my-
really hoping you were going to do the proper pop, and it was going to smash into your glass cabinet. It was going to bounce around the room, comic style, and
But
smash
instead,
Oh.
one of the manliest men I know, who literally forges shit in his garage when he's got free time, makes the girliest sound that I've ever heard when popping that fucking bottle.
Oh man,
I would honestly have made the exact same noise.
it was extremely pleasurable. So I'm not ashamed of any noises I made popping that cork. And you know what? Oh yeah, the cork smells nice too. This is a delightful gift I was given to by a very good friend of mine, Jason, that owns Mixtape Brewing. This is McKellar, a collaboration with Oud Creek in Belgium. It's a 6.5% lambic.
That's some big dogs right there.
Yeah, swinging some big balls there. And you know what? I haven't even drunk this, but the room just smells like sweet cherries and raspberries and all those good Christmassy fruit, or cold Christmassy fruit.
On that note, we should probably do a little shout out to Mixtape because I'm pretty sure it's their second birthday recently, or they're coming up to 2 years at their Marrickville site. So congratulations to those guys.
Yeah.
They just got a
Congrats.
feature article
It's just-
in Crafty.
I mean,
I can't find your beer because I mean, the way that you described it,
Oh.
I don't know. It's. I'm sure it's my fault. I'm not blaming you, but I heard McKellar.
Fonda finish. Let me. Can you
Fonda
say that?
finish.
Fonda finish.
I'll find it. It's all good. Thank you.
FOEDER finish. It's a
Photo finish then?
photo
Is that
finish. Photo finish.
Photos are they're the massive barrels.
FINISH.
that's an N. Okay.
No, one less N, Pete.
But photos or feeders technically. Yeah, they're the massive barrels like
Yes.
it's like a Solera system.
So Frederiksdal Oud Creek Fuder Finish from Brewerige Boone collaboration with McKellar.
Please do that again. That's a sound one I need.
That was a good one. I like that. It's like phenomenal. It is one of those beers that it's one of those beers that if you're in the industry, you just go, yeah, you know, I'm. But you can't because these people have so much history.
Hundreds of
behind
years
them.
of
Yeah. Incredible. It's the depth of fruit flavor, the very light, beautiful tartness that is there is something that's sort of, and you know what? I'm going to regret saying these things, but it's lightly effervescent on the tongue, which brings out more of the fruit character through your whole nasal cavity.
like a fruit tingle.
But no, that is like a horrible...
Oh, it's being purposefully reductive.
Yeah, good. It's not even one of those beers worth rating because it is phenomenal on its own.
It's on its own scale.
It's phenomenal on its own. It's phenomenal compared to anything else. It's just, you can't rate this something out of 5 because it's not even...
Can.
But it's not even... it's worth more than 5.
I'm literally so because I did a little beer pop up during the episodes. I'm just going to put out of 5 Dan jizzed. That's how it's going to be ranked.
Yep. I would use Iago from Aladdin on a scale of 1 to 10. You are 11.
Or dial it up to 11.
You didn't hear my question because I muted myself like an idiot. So whoever watches that video gets to see me go. But I was asking, was the fruit, what you were talking about, the effervescence of the fruit, is that like because it's more highly carbonated in any way, shape, or form?
No, it's not. It's clearly, oh God, and this is just beautiful, and I hope I can get it before it fades out. But that is such a dense foam on there that it's champagne, proper champagne-like foam. So and this is me not having read any of the bottle or anything like that, but it feels naturally carbonated. They're super fine bubbles. They're not force carbonated bubbles, which are larger, which kind of bite. They have a carbonic bite.
Yeah.
A naturally carbonated product, whether it's proper champagne, no, not talking sparkling wine, we're talking proper champagne, has a lighter and much less carbonic acidic bite to the carbonation that's in it. And it is very effervescent, but it's very fine bubble effervescent. Which that stone fruit character just bursts. It's incredible. It's an absolutely phenomenally made product. That's
awesome.
Done.
Oh, you're just making me. You're making me miss the. What was it? What's the famous book about the underage girl who was
Lolita?
Lolita. Thank you. It was a Goose Island aged.
It was
barrel aged cherry.
It was a very good
lambic that was fucking spectacular. And gosh, I miss it. I will go next if that's okay, Tom.
Please.
I'm drinking Yuli's Brews Amanda, which is a Mandarin IPA.
Mandarin.
Have you tried this, Dan?
Oh.
It's not bad. It's all right.
I used to brew it.
So you used to brew this recipe? Because I knew obviously you'd brewed a lot of Yuli's beers, but I don't know which ones you have.
If I see that orange decal on tap, I go straight for it.
Yeah. So
I don't care if there's 8 new beers I've never tried before. I'm like, holy, Amanda's on tap? Fuck yeah, let's go.
So me and Louise love Amanda. Like it's
my first time trying it.
It's one of Louise's favorite IPAs on that board. So before Yuli's had their brewery, they contract brewed, and we were lucky enough to be one of the breweries or one of the main breweries that they contract brewed with. And we brewed the first iteration of Amanda. And the amount of frustration and fuckery that came around brewing that beer was incredible, because they were peeling mandarins and juicing mandarins and sterilizing the juice in Cointreau before they poured them into the vessel. And some of this skull fuckery, probably not the right term, but some of this fuckery ended up further on to their process later on down the track. And I'm very good friends with the guys from Yuli's, and they were like, enough of this shit. We need to streamline this. Like, we cannot continue to be peeling fucking mandarins by hand.
Not sustainable.
This shit needs to be streamlined. So they streamlined it down the track like 6 to 12 months after they built their brewery. And it was quite funny to see that beer in its evolution. But still, Amanda, I love it.
I don't think I've tried. I've tried shit tons of Yuli's brews, mainly because you bring me Yuli's brews quite frequently, and
used to, don't anymore because we haven't brewed for them for a couple of years. But
they're also a mainstay.
That long.
Yeah, true. They were a mainstay at Bar 89, which is sadly now closed.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we got a lot of the dollies. We've tried a lot of the dollies on the podcast as well. This is excellent. This is right up my alley for a very bitter IPA, and I'm not a big fan of big bitterness, but this one hits in the right spots. Shitloads of mandarin. Obviously, you've talked about the process, so now I know why. There's fuckloads of actual mandarin there. I just really like the dry finish against the real tart bitterness. I don't know if tart's probably not the right word, but the acidity of the bitterness. The bitterness of the bitterness. It's great. I'm just going to stick to simple words.
But I think that's a really good. I don't want to say simplification because I don't want to make it sound like you're simple. But I think that's a very good. Like I would have probably said exactly the same thing. I think it's a very good articulation of what it's like.
Yeah. They said orange peel liqueur. You said Contro. You definitely get notes of that too.
I can't say Contro. It's a proprietary.
Yeah, it's a branded. Yeah, I get it. It's
some Frenchy fuck shit.
But it's but you definitely get the liqueur hit as not liqueur hit, but you get those notes. It's got its own flavor profile. Yeah.
That's how you ruin a good margarita, Contro. Yeah, cop that, you dogs.
I'm going to give that a 4.5. That's excellent. I'm really pleased with that. I save anything above 4.5 for stouts and cherry fucking Goose Islands that I miss. Anyway, Tom.
I'm drinking a new brewery for the podcast. The first time I've seen these guys in Australia as well. So they're from NZ. They're Waitoa Brewing. If that helps, there you go. This is the First Light, which is their Aotearoa Hazy. Did I do good?
Aotearoa.
I was close. I was close. So these guys, I've just been looking up because I'd never heard of them before. I literally stumbled into. I was walking just before, and I was like, I had a few beers in my fridge that were a bit high ABV, so I wanted to get something. So I took just for the walk up the bottle shop, and walked in, saw these. I've got two of them now, but bright cans, similar design, really stood off the shelf, and I grabbed them. And I just looked them up. So they're an independent brewer from their home in Hataitai down in Wellington. They've obviously just come over or found someone to take them over to Australia. So I've looked
Vintage
up
cellars apparently, because a lot of that listed as the cellars on Untapped.
Yes. That is where I got them, Pete. Thank you. I was trying to avoid saying that, but they were the only place open. That was close enough. Thought we were giving shit to mass.
We were.
Mass, yeah.
Different chain though.
Different. Are they though? Liquorland Vintage Cellars?
No, they're not.
Yeah, I was about to say they're both Coles. But hey, they're bringing in some good stuff. So there you go. Pete, find a Vintage Cellars instead.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked my camera. Sorry.
But this is really nice. This is. It's also relatively. It's not relatively fresh, depending on how long they put it. If they put a year or if they put 9 months on it. It says best before 20th of the 6th, 24. I don't know if they don't have a package date on there. But look, it pours really nice. It's still really juicy. It's got all those classic NZ hazy hits to it. They've used Kahatu, Nectaron, and Ruaka. They've also added a touch of Motueka and Nelson Southern. So yeah, you go five hops they've chucked in that brew. And it's got a bit of hop burn through it, like the ears a bit right at the back. But otherwise, it's like a really nice melon, slightly pithy like taste to it. But yeah, it's great. I would hope that we'd see some more of their stuff. I just looked on a quick look online at their website about some of the other beers they have out, and some of them sound pretty good. So like, I'd hope that they get some more footage over here.
I don't know why, but the name First Light and Afterglow, which is another one of their beers, I really like those names.
That's the second beer I got is the Afterglow.
I don't know why, but just something about those two names. I just really
Yeah.
Because you're dirty, Pete, and you just associate all that shit with sex.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong subconsciously. Maybe that's
I
true.
honestly
not where I
put
was
it,
at. But
so I got them both because they're both hazies, and I literally I got that, and I looked at the names, and I was like, Sunrise and Sunset.
yeah,
Sure, let's talk about.
What I got from First Light was more like kayaks on the ocean during sunrise. But I mean,
Yes, that thing I often do that I would associate that term.
hey,
with.
I have kayak in the ocean at sunset, so fuck you very much. But
You said sunrise.
First
I know.
light. Yep.
I know. Anyway, moving on for our 15-minute fucking review out of 5. Yes.
Yeah, that's another. It's a solid 4. It's the burn is starting to the hot burn is starting to get to me a little bit. But yeah,
I'm sure it'll get fatiguing.
Yeah, by the end of it, and it's a 440ml can, and yeah, I think it's maybe one hop too many. Go back to 4, guys.
You don't think it's just the 6.7 because it's fairly? I mean, it's not high, but it's not low either.
No. It's
hot burn, not ABV burn.
It's not ABV burn. It's definitely like I don't know how green. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be really green, but it's definitely that hot burny flavor that I get from when you have something that's like this needs a little bit of time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just too many hops in there, but yeah. It's still good. It's just I know I would only have these 2 cans. I wouldn't have a 4-pack of these. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. So we're going to move on to some trailers. Look, this is our first of the new format. We're going to have to mess with some timing and start to figure out how we can get to a 2-hour episode because this is definitely not going to be one of them. And we're not doing trailer trash, but we did have some trailers, which is ironic, really.
Well, we're not going to break down the trailers. We're just going to tell you basically what they're about, and we think you should check them out.
Yeah. So
and
the first
if you do,
one,
good on you. If you don't, fuck you.
Fuck yeah. Immediately stop listening. Just kidding. Netflix Avatar Last Airbender. I didn't mind the look of this one.
It's looking promising.
Yeah, it seemed to because the movie from a few years ago was pretty tragic.
Pretty average, yeah.
The fucking Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, like why? This one looks a little bit closer to the I was going to say anime then, but
yeah,
the animated series, the anime series. Looked pretty good. I just love Eastern culture represented well through a Western lens that my brain can actually wrap itself around.
Well, it's the same with So, like I said that I'm good friends with the guys who do the Gateway to Anime podcast, and I was talking to some of them about it, and they said that they were really looking forward to this in the same way they really looked forward to the Netflix One Piece live action they've done. But compared to how they felt disappointed by Cowboy Bebop, whereas I really enjoyed Cowboy Bebop.
So did I.
Yeah, I really liked the way they did that, and that they're the experts.
Is
on
it
that,
for the same reason? Do you think that I like the way that I phrased that was I was pretty selective in the way that I said that it's I like Eastern culture represented through a Western lens because my brain needs to wrap itself around it. Whereas if I go back to some famous manga movies or manga-based movies and anime movies, I just don't get it. Like it's cool and it's visually
like as someone. So I think let's use Cowboy Bebop as the perfect example. So I've watched the entire anime series that's available, and then I've watched the live action series, and they leave a pretty significant character in the anime series out of the live action because I don't think it translates well to what you'd said. Like it doesn't translate well in a Western lens.
Yeah. I mean, they had to make pretty significant changes to something like Battle Angel Alita from the original anime to the Spielberg. Was it Spielberg? I think I want to say that it might be the movie, but that's very much a westernized version, a retelling of the story.
Yeah. It's because it's not, and this is not in a bad way at all. It's just that sometimes the anime is just they go absolutely batshit crazy, and it's like even if you're really following attention, if you blink it, you sometimes blink and miss, and then it's like, why the fuck are we doing that? Like, okay, sure. And it's one of the things they talk about with the One Piece in terms of like the fighting style in the anime of the lead character. Monkey Mankey. It's not Monkey, but it's something like that. And he's like almost like Mr. Fantastic or dude from Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. He's like that kind of like, he's that kind of like stretchy in the way he like fights in it. But that's hard to like. Most people look at that and they're like, it's a live action thing. I don't get why you're doing that, and then you lose a bunch of your viewers. But I think in the One Piece thing, they did it in a way that was still good enough for a lot of the.
It was
anime
stylistic,
viewers.
but I have read some criticism.
But then you look at it from through a purely Western lens of not understanding the anime or the manga behind it, and they go, okay, like like it translates well enough. It's like a little bit out. It's a more out there kind of world that they're creating. But Avatar has such a massive following in the West as it is. Anyway, because it was on Nickelodeon. Like so many kids like grew up with it. Like people, I think they're in their mid-20s now. Like they grew up watching that in their Saturday morning cartoons or their cartoons before school. Like, so I think it's looking good. And if they can go, from all accounts, if they can go down the same road they've done with the One Piece and be a bit like be more faithful to it, especially in terms of casting, like, it's good.
The criticism I read that was leveled at One Piece was more that the dynamism of the way that it's drawn doesn't translate very well to live action TV, and it's not through necessarily through fault. You'd have to be it's not and this is the other thing. The criticism was that it wouldn't have been impossible to better translate it onto film, but you'd have to be a pretty smart cinematographer to pull it off.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not going to talk about Monolith. It's an interesting looking trailer.
I think it's a good three-piece to go there. Monolith, Spaceman, and Constellation. They're all cosmic horror. They're all psychological sci-fi horror.
Yeah. And starting with Monolith because it's probably the least traditional science fiction in the sense that it's not set in space, it's set on Earth, but obviously alien artifacts are fucking with people's heads, and it's a bit of a conspiracy theory turned out to be real. Kind of what I got from the quick trailer watch. So that looks interesting.
I think it looks good. I think that trailer is
perfectly
so many. Yes, exactly. So many trailers these days. And I stop trailers sometimes half to 3/4 the way through because I'm like, you're fucking showing me too much. I don't want to see this. Like you've pinged that. But I think also in the first 30 seconds.
But also half those things they do in some of those trailers, and you're showing me too much, and then you get actually through the series, and you're like, I never saw that cut, I never saw that scene or that moment. Like, red herring trailers a lot more to hook people in, I think, these days.
Definitely with the major blockbusters
we don't call them out for.
Yeah, major blockbusters, yes, but I think the smaller indie sort of stuff, no. I think they do clever cuts like this.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Moving on to the next one, which was Spaceman, directed by Johan. I'm assuming that's going to be a Johan Renck. Johan, yep. Starring Adam Sandler, Carey Mulligan, and Paul Dano. I'm really interested to see how this plays out. So it depicts Adam Sandler as an astronaut flying solo in a ship to save mankind. It doesn't really explain why. Again, it didn't go into too much detail. I think actually the trailer did a really good job again of giving you enough information without giving away the plot. He's on a ship for some reason. The same mankind saved mankind for some reason. He's alone. He misses his pregnant wife, and then some entity starts talking to him. You don't know if it's really there or not. It's depicted
pretty big ass spider.
Yeah, it's depicted as a massive ass spider. So if you've got arachnophobia, maybe not the film for you. And starts communicating with him through memories of his wife, which I thought was quite interesting. This is going to be. I'm excited more about watching to see if Adam Sandler's going to pull off dramatic.
He will.
Yeah. So
he's already proven that with the Diamond film.
I didn't like that film. I couldn't get through it. I watched the first. I'm not saying it's bad. Like, it wasn't poorly written, directed, acted. I just struggle with the story. Yeah, I think that was right. I just really struggle with the story. But there's been a lot of
uncut gems.
Uncut gems. Yeah.
There's been a lot of comedian and wacky comedians who have pulled off
Jim
drama.
Carrey.
in
Yeah.
a few things,
Yeah.
he is chillingly good.
Fucking great.
Yeah. Steve Carell in Foxcatcher, which I've heard really good things about, but I actually haven't watched all the way through. But he was brilliant in.
I've seen Steve Carell in a bunch of serious roles, and it's just like it's so jarring when you think about like, and that's the thing with Jim Carrey. You think about how zany and wacky he is when he's trying to do the Riddler or whatever. You like, that's probably the worst example of Jim Carrey, but the Mask. But then you pair it against like Number 23,
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind,
and it's just like, oh no, the funny guy's sad, and now, oh no, God no, it's like, it's really that, it's just that jarring. You expect him to be so wacky and zany, and then when you see that other side of him, you're like, oh shit, range.
I'm not sure that it is though, and this is one of the interesting points. You look at Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting, sad, isolated, dealing with psychological trauma by being a counselor. Jim Carrey's roles, they're dealing with some dark psychological depression. Will Ferrell, Stranger Than Fiction, not so much, doesn't really fit that kind of model, but there's and then Steve Carell. So Steve Carell, the performance I was talking mainly about was in the morning show, the Apple Plus Me Too TV series, which is brilliantly performed by Jennifer Aniston and Steve Carell, who are both comedians. But Steve Carell was the perpetrator of misogynistic behavior and, using his position for sexual favors and that sort of thing. And he did the actor did a brilliant job of portraying the complexity of that particular character's written narrative around those things. He was clearly an evil guy, but evil that he didn't think he was evil. Like most good, well-written bad guys, he didn't think he was the bad guy. And he portrays that excellently.
He wasn't the one-dimensional evil dude where he's...
No. He wasn't out there to hurt anyone. Seth Rogen in Steve Jobs, very different kind of serious role, but he did a fucking bang-up job of it. I don't know if you've seen that film. I thought it was excellent. So I'm really excited to see Adam Sandler and see if he pulls it off. The end.
Okay.
Cool.
Sorry.
No further questions, Your Honor. Next.
that felt like I'd been talking too long about it then. Apple Plus Constellation.
Another cosmic horror.
Change the record.
Thing goes wrong on Space Station.
Thing goes wrong on Space Station.
Alternate dimension.
End of
someone
plot.
does. Yeah. someone is someone who they aren't. I mean, yeah. It's the standard going mad after coming back from space story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a
or maybe she was changed by some entity she met along the way.
Or maybe she's in a world that's not hers. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's a lot of if, buts, and what, or there is something there that was talking to her while she was up there. I mean, same as Spaceman. I mean, we don't really know from those trailers. They were both quite well cut. I don't actually think they were as good a cut as the Monolith trailer. I think they thought maybe not showed too much, but they could have been 20 or 30 seconds shorter.
Yeah.
To hold suspense. But yeah, three cosmic horrors coming out, man. Let's rock this shit. Let's bring cosmic horror back to the 2024. We're still in the 21st century. Yep, we've still got a lot of years to go to the 22nd century.
I don't think we're going to be talking around the 22nd century.
Well, you never know.
No, we'll be Futurama heads by then, just in the globes.
Heads in a jar.
Yeah.
The last thing, just one other thing that just reminded me was Spaceman, and this will go for Constellation, I think, as maybe not Monolith. We've already seen drama and relationship style drama in a science fiction film work super well. Interstellar is one of the most accoladed movies to come out in the last, say, 10, 15 years in terms of a sci-fi. It looked like Spaceman was very much on that same wavelength. They're communicating through happy memories of his wife as a way of kind of depicting the sadness and isolation. So at first...
Piano string books and everything.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. So I think I like Interstellar, but Interstellar to me was more hard sci-fi, and Spaceman definitely leans into that cosmic horror side.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that statement. Not kind of what I meant, but I don't disagree. Maybe it's more Donnie Darko than it is Interstellar.
Yeah. That's a good call.
Different parallel.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we'll leave it there, and I think you've got some bone to pick, Tom.
Oh, do I ever?
Like and subscribe
do I ever?
with that segue.
Oh, fuck me. That was the worst.
It is
one
good
yet.
because it's bad.
Yeah. No.
That was. Jeez, I don't even know if I want to talk about this anymore.
Depress my work here is done.
Anyway, I watched the trailer. It was pretty dumb, but nothing as dumb as that fucking segue. But no, Sun and Bone. Have you ever wanted to watch Cowboys or play? Sorry, it's a game. It's a game trailer for a game coming out. It is think Doom, but Cowboys versus dinosaurs.
Turok with guns.
Yep.
No,
Turok had guns.
Turok already
Turok
had guns.
had guns.
Yeah.
Turok had guns. It's the fast-paced action of it's based off Doom 2016, and like this is not a slight at the developers of this game, but it is a Doom 2016 clone. But I think we need more of them because I've been thoroughly enjoying it. And this is a good one. But this is all
Turok wasn't a terrible game.
No, Turok wasn't.
No, it's a good mashup.
We need it.
We need a Turok remake, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Remember that hand claw thing you threw? Fuck yeah. No, but this is period piece as well. So it's like adding that extra element into it because you think of like them holding like a classic cowboy cocking rifle shotgun thing. Like that when you've got raptors running at you. Holy shit. Holy shit.
I think it's actually like alternate dimensions, isn't it? He gets pulled into...
Yeah, we don't know. Again, the trailer, misleading. Red herrings everywhere. But that could be to trap the dinosaurs in because they like fish. It looks fun. It looks like, as we'll talk about I'm sure Dan will talk about AYWS. It looks dumb fun. Fun. Yeah.
I didn't know whether to bring it up now or bring it up later, but yeah, it looks like Evil West first person with dinosaurs.
yeah. It's a Doom clone. Look, go check it out. Add it to something on your if you got like a wish list or something of games you want to look at going. I'm definitely add it to mine, and when it finally gets released, I think they had a release date. I didn't look it up, but when it comes out, I'll definitely be grabbing it, and I will talk about it. I'm sure in a future potty boy.
Cool.
Anyway,
all right, we're out of the first half. Halfway through the second half.
Yay!
Well done. I think I need a break.
My fault. So we're going to do some quick reviews. Reacher season 2 straight out of the.
I really need to start.
How's Jack Reach around doing?
Season 2 just isn't what
reaching far enough.
We're gonna see. You gave me that shit about my bad segue, and then you come out with that.
I don't think that was a segue. That was just bad puns on Reach.
The thing that made
he doesn't have a flip head toothbrush. Let's put it that way.
The thing that made
he's
season
reaching
1
for the clouds and he missed.
Give yourself an uppercut. The thing that made season 1 great wasn't there in season 2. It went from hyper violent lone wolf coolness, right? And his backstory is part of what made him cool. He was the super fucking MP detective guy. He can take on 50 guys in a fight and come out on top, and in a believable ultra-violent kind of way. And he gets away with a lot of what he gets away. He survives a lot of the shit that he survives because he's just outrageously machismo. Machismo? That's a word.
Machismo?
I just realized who he needs to play. He needs to play the Doom guy.
Yeah, that would fucking work.
Sorry.
Anyway, that scene that you talked about, Dan, where he realized someone was being robbed and drove a car into them to stop it, that's what made Reacher season 1 brilliant. He was like that all the way through. He didn't act alone. He had people around him, but they were people that he collected throughout the course of the story unfolding. They weren't old school friends. He wasn't in a group. The second season, he's with all these old MPs. And so it ended up being kind of a generic
got the band back together.
Special forces acting illegally on US soil show that we've seen a million times before. And whilst it was still violent, yeah, what were we going to say, Dan?
No, I clicked the hand up instead of the mute.
The
button.
mute. Okay.
This is my first time in an office meeting.
I was going to say,
sir, I'm sorry, I put my hand up. I didn't mean to put my hand up.
I'll say after 111 episodes, I'm glad that we've developed that casual professionalism. Not that I can fucking talk. Yeah, Reacher Season 2 for me just didn't hit the way that the first one did. It also didn't hit the way that either of the two Reacher movies with Tom Cruise hit. He's still a fucking beefcake. He's still very physical throughout. But now that he's with his team of special forces, it just becomes a generic kind of military-esque TV show.
So is this like, do you know if they're going to go, is there a Reacher Season 3 coming?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. What I did read after...
Did the story lead to like maybe the team turns on him and then he has to take them all down? Like,
no, nothing like that. The story itself was okay.
I'm still going to check it out. Like, I'm keen to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely watch Season 1, start with Season 2, see what you think. I just found it just didn't hit the way that the first one did. I wanted more...
That's a shame.
I wanted more realistic violence.
I just worked out who a second person he can play. He can play fucking Letho in The Witcher.
Can I get through my fucking review?
No.
This is not an...
Yeah, I actually prefer Letho to Doom Guy, but yeah.
I'll mute myself.
You won't. You'll put your hand up again. Or you'll turn your camera off, one of the two.
Yeah, no, I just look, the Season 1 was fucking brilliant. Season 2 wasn't bad, but it was kind of generic, and it just didn't have the same goodness that the first one did. The other thing I just wanted to say quickly is I finally watched Talk to Me, Dan. It was excellent. It was excellent. So I'm very glad that
That was your horror one, yep.
Yeah, that was the Australian horror we talked about last episode. Yeah, last episode.
Times,
yeah. And I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I was going to invest the time to rewatch it. I wanted to after our last conversation, and I'm so.
I think it's good you did. I'm glad you did because it was, it felt a bit not Pete for you to talk about how you just casually watch some like horror film that you probably need to pay attention to. I was like, what was going on, Pete?
And you know what? I got all of the
he needed a snorkel at the time. That's what he needed. He needed a snorkel
with a camera. Yeah, that's a periscope, Dan. Snorkel with a camera.
It's called a periscope. Yeah, you're right. Well, you needed a snorkel and a camera.
Potentially. Yeah. Or like a puff. I could have used like a footstool. They're still good puffs, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. I could have used one of those too.
I'm not sure, but yes.
We know what I'm talking about, though. Yes, an ottoman. There you go. I could have used an ottoman.
No, an ottoman's a big
You don't need an empire, Pete. You just need to watch the fucking film.
Anyway, I'm really glad I watched it. It was excellent. It turned out that the only moments I had seen before that were the ultra-violent moments without any of the context, and it's such a different film when you ground that violence. Because
really? It's amazing what context does to an ultra-violent scene.
Anyway, over to
context to a 13-year-old bashing his head against a fucking sink. Yeah.
Spoilers, bro. Spoilers. I'll never watch it, but spoilers.
Fair enough. Yeah. Oh, where would you watch it? It's a fucking great movie. Anyway.
It's like Death on a Stick out there, mate.
Death on a Stick. True Detective, Season 4, Night Country. So it's just True Detective Night Country?
I think so. Yeah.
Season 4. Direct link to Season 1.
Awesome.
I think. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure.
No, someone told me this today because I was talking about it with my locals, and he's like, "Yeah, no, direct link to Season 1, and then when it's because of this, but I don't want to go further into it." And I was like, "Well, maybe you should shut up right now."
Okay. Well, I only thought of this morning and then messaged Louise saying, I'm pretty sure this is the same as Season 1. And she's gone, that's a good point. So, so two episodes are out in its weekly drop. So by the time this comes out, probably 3 episodes.
I don't have to have watched
Season
3, do I?
No.
Watch Season 3 because I just watched Season 3.
We'll get to Season 3.
Yeah.
So Season 4, it's great. It's set in the Arctic at in fuck, what is that country up there? Alaska.
That's
Alaska.
not a country, but carry on.
Oh, well, past
A
a
state.
state. There we go, a state.
In the 30 days of night.
In its 30 days of nights, it starts literally with the sun setting in its 30 days of nights. And you, from the very first opening scene, you go, this is not right. There is something not right happening here. From the first,
Was it a predator?
45 seconds. You know what? If there was a little glimmering,
Can't do the noise.
like in the background, that would have been pretty cool. But at first 30 seconds, you know something's not right. It's and then it's the sunset on the 30 days of night. And then it's this little town. Jodie Foster is the head of the police in that little town. And then it's a really tight community. You have small stories of individual characters. Everybody knows my love of small stories. Small
I was about
stories.
to say, because the way you're describing it, it's really starting to sound like
Not
the
Fargo.
the vampire.
Yeah, 30 Days of Night.
No, the one we watched, the vampire in the seaside village.
Seaside Village.
I'll find it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wait. Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah, it's really going to bug you now. Yeah,
It is going to bug me.
I'll find it.
So it's small stories, individual characters. Really, we're literally 2 episodes in, and the main characters and some of the side characters are really well fleshed out. It's fantastic. It has absolutely homage to The Thing, which is a John Carpenter movie, which is a cosmic horror.
Sure.
There is a scientific outpost, which is what is in The Thing. And when Jodie Foster is there, she walks in front of a TV screen, and there on the shelf for an absolute split second is the DVD of The Thing. And she walks in front of it, and then that's it. I was waiting for her to step aside and for them to blatantly show it, but there's it must be a 10th of a second, and she walks in front of it. If you don't know what that cover looks like, you are not seeing it, and you're not picking up on that. But it's an absolute homage to The Thing, and it's a within this context of the first 2 episodes, it's a cosmic horror in the dark cold of Alaska, and that absolutely tickles my funny bone. That is all the wonderful things of people going crazy, because we as humans aren't meant to live in the dark. We are meant to have the light and the dark, and we're meant to sleep in circadian rhythms and everything like that. So Tom's got his hand up. So what would you like to say, Tom?
Midnight Mass.
Oh, Midnight Mass. Yeah.
When the fuck did we get so fucking refined that we're putting our hand up to talk? Sorry.
Oh, wow. That keeps bopping me up and down. Wow. That's good.
So we're 2 episodes in, and I am hooked, and I am thinking about it the days after I watch an episode.
Which is why I'm waiting after catching up on season 3, and I know that Emma and I all want to, because we smashed through season 3. You know me, for the last however long, I've really struggled to get into a TV series. Talking 3 nights, we went through the entire of season 3.
I couldn't get into season 3.
Oh,
I watched the first.
fuck me.
Really?
I watched the first
You
3.
sure season 2 was the bad one?
Yeah, I think season 2. I agree.
Season 2 is the one in LA. Season 3 is the one with Mahershala Ali,
and
it's set in
Stephen-
Arkansas.
Mahershala. Is it?
Mahershala,
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
sorry. And it's set in Arkansas.
Stephen Dorff.
So it's back to season 1 in terms of the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's the one that's
I
set.
have
So
Are you thinking about the one with Vince Vaughn? That's season 2.
No, I enjoyed season 2 thoroughly.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just
you're wrong.
horses and courses, right? Sure.
You're wrong. You just
Asshole.
you're flat out wrong.
Just put
No,
your
I
fucking
mean,
hand up when you're ready to talk, bitch.
I didn't hate season 2. I really didn't. I think season 2. I think season 2 had its place, but I think it was really lacking. If they had gone to season 3, that sounds dumb.
If they'd skipped to season 3.
If they'd gone to the story that was season 3 after season 2, after season 1,
I get what you're trying to say. Yeah.
yes, I thought it was good, and I really like season 2 as a separate story, but it didn't have the same feel.
Yes.
It didn't have that supernatural feel. So even though season 3 actually didn't have anything supernatural in it,
Which was, yeah.
it was just season 3 was just so well acted across 3 time periods. Imagine
Yeah.
how fucked up these actors are, splitting their brains in 3 ways.
Yeah. And good jumps in time periods too. Like,
Yeah, I
not
think so
too
too.
sizable that they couldn't act off one another.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. I'll give it another go because I really want to see it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the first season. It was fucking brilliant.
Oh,
I
season
think-
1 is some of the best television that has been.
And it came at a time where you thought,
We're in
if
a
you
bit of a
thought you,
slump.
yeah, and when you thought about like a cop TV show, like a cop based TV show, you'd be like, oh, this is going to be fucking all right,
Garbage.
sure, yeah.
Well, you say that, but was it
Not
Criminal
necessarily
Minds,
garbage.
the
I would-
invention of the FBI and the invention of the
Mindhunter.
That
Mindhunter
was-
was fucking brilliant.
and I likened that to season 1 of True Detective.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I know there's not direct parallels, Dan. It's just I can see you shaking your head at me. But in terms of that era, it was that well acted. They were discovering what the fuck was going on as they went. That's the aspects that I really enjoyed. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, we smashed through season 3, and I thought the time element this time was cool. I thought the way that they did it with, like, you know, you'd see the guy from you'd see his character from the 90s turn, and a door would be open that necessarily wouldn't be open, but if you 10 seconds before that in the scene, it would have been the dude from modern day in 2015 who would have just opened the door and looked in the room, and then he goes, oh wait, shit, why is that door open? It was kind of like, I thought I didn't know if there was going to be, they were trying to push more of that, like, time jumping, like it was all connected kind of thing, because they talked about it when the wife was talking about the poetry and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but it was just like you said, like the like, without giving too much away, you think it's going to be more supernatural than it is at the end, and it does leave you hanging. But then I thought the last scene really, like, obviously don't want to give anything away in this, but like the last scene of kind of like, it harkened back to that time thing in such a big way that made me go, hang on. And like, it's just like, wait, what just happened that entire season, going back to that last, like kind of last shot.
Yeah.
But now it's made me like fully back on board with the True Detective thing. I'm so keen to get into season 4, but I know I'm just going to need a dump of episodes, because we're going to sit there and be like, yeah, we got 4 hours. Let's watch the first 4. Like, we've waited, 4 weeks, and then we're going to have to wait another couple of weeks. And then, yeah, it's just going to be, yeah.
I'd love for something like this, the anticipation. Something that is, I love a well thought out detective story, but the only thing I love more than a well thought out detective story is a well thought out supernatural detective story. Like, that absolutely tickles my fancy to no ends. Like, it's something that is, if it's something that's just on our plane and you can go, oh yeah, well, some fucking crazy did that, or X, Y, Z. But if you start going, well, was it this or was it that? And like, season 4 might turn out to be nothing.
Yeah.
But they might really spin it back to real world sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
we're 2 episodes in, and because it's set in Alaska, and half the cast is Inuit, I think. I don't want to misspeak here. I don't know what the indigenous people of Alaska are called, but I think they're Inuits. Like, that is their culture, and they talk a lot about their myths and what could potentially be. And that ties into it. And I find that sort of mythology tied into a detective story. And plus, I know nothing about the indigenous stories of that area. And so I find that incredibly interesting and engaging. So I'm loving it. I hope it's only about 8 episodes. I don't actually know how long it is.
I'm assuming it would be. Every other season has been about 8.
Yeah. So I think 8 could be the absolute pinnacle for this.
Yeah.
Because, man, they've laid the fucking groundwork in the first 2 really well.
Excellent. Excitement.
Cool.
That's good, because your next note means nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
What?
I was meant to ask Louise in the break what we watched, because I can't remember it. There was something good that we watched, but I can't remember. So,
Must have been pretty good. Tom.
Well, I'm gonna talk for 2 seconds about one of the dumbest Christmas films I've ever watched that was highly entertaining. So I finally sat down and watched Violent Night with David Harbour and John Leguizamo and a bunch of other people in it, obviously. It is Santa Claus is a drunk, and he goes to this house to deliver a present to a lovely little girl who's one of the few on the nice list. Santa's obviously a bit sad. He's portrayed in this film as he's kind of like, kids are just greedy. They just want video games. They don't want, they as soon as they unwrap their first present, they want the next.
This is
three.
the 2022 film. I thought we were going to be talking about Silent Night, which was the Joel Kinnaman film recently released.
Yeah, well,
Carry
I
on.
haven't found
I was
that
wrong.
Yeah.
No. I was just. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you to exclaim my surprise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Was it 2022?
Yes.
Oh, really? There you go. It sat on my Netflix for a year then before I finally watched it. Anyway, it's Santa gets to this house, and then there's mercenaries trying to take this very, very rich family's money, and then he decides to go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to save this little girl, but I'm going to go back to my Norse ways as Nicomund the Red, which was his Norse Viking name.
Mm-hmm.
He had Skullcrusher, his hammer, and then it's just David Harbour in a Santa suit with a
sledgehammer.
With a sledgehammer going to fucking town. 5 stars. 5 fucking stars.
Yep.
No, actually, no, I take 1 star off because the Christmas music really fucking annoyed me.
I can't stand Christmas carols.
Yeah.
No,
and it's one of those things that's like, I still want to watch Silent Night with Joel Kinnaman. I've unfortunately heard reviews of it that it's not as good as we would hope, but I want to take my own judgment of that. I watched this the other night. As I had dinner, I sat down. I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna sit down, have dinner, have a beer, and watch this." I had the house to myself. It was 2 hours. I had a fucking laugh in some scenes. Some of the gory kills made me go, ooh, which is always a good sign.
That's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, whenever you watch something that's like over the top gore and you go, ooh.
Yep.
And then there's the moment about 3/4 of the way through the film where they've already talked about Home Alone in the film, but then they really homage it with traps, and it's possibly the best little segment of the film of a little girl pulling off some rather deadly Home Alone traps. And that's the moment when I went,
Nice.
Dan's saying something, but
Yeah, you're talking about Violent Night, like
Yeah.
Yes.
not Silent Night. Yes.
That's why I just said the same thing.
which is why I wrote Violent Night, not
Yeah.
Silent Night.
I
in
really
the show
liked
notes.
Violent Night. I thought
Yeah.
it was heaps of fun.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Look. If you
David
can get through
Harbour as a drunken Santa, fantastic.
I really wanted them to explore more of the Norse element, though. I thought that was
Yeah.
like the really cool scenes where they did Erikmund the Red and Skullcrusher.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah, and then some particularly creative kills, like really up there with some of the more who the fuck thinks of some of these fucking things? There's some twisted individuals out there, but yeah. Look, 2 hours long. Check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And John Leguizamo.
Leguizamo, yep.
Oh man, he
As
just
Mr. Scrooge.
he just fucking chews up the screen, doesn't he? Like he's just fantastic. Anything that he's
The rest
in,
of the cast is some nice-ish. They were
Yeah.
fine. They were fine.
Yeah.
It took me forever to picture the son, the main son. He's the main bad guy in Cowboy Bebop. He's the long-haired.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it took forever for me to pick him, but then I was like, that's where you're from.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Leguizamo doesn't do enough these days, but I guess he doesn't have to.
No,
He's
he's
got
made
all
his
that-
cash.
He's got all that Baz Luhrmann, Romeo and Juliet money.
Should we move on to our fourth beer?
Should.
That was a long bow to draw. Yeah. The Cat of Nine, or what was he called? Something like that. Juliet's
Yes, we
cousin.
have to often remind people that was actually Shakespeare, that film.
Yeah, he was Juliet's cousin. No, have
Yes.
you not seen it, Peter? Oh, come on.
Oh, wow, Pete.
What movie am I not seeing?
Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet with
Leonardo
I
DiCaprio.
don't
Leonardo
remember.
DiCaprio.
Yeah, I have seen it. The retelling. Yes, and I know.
Oh, the retelling. I think everything that's been made for the last 150 years is a retelling.
No. Stop. I have seen the Bell Shakespeare Company show the original play that Shakespeare wrote, or maybe it was Shakespeare, maybe it was the guy who stole it from. but Baz Luhrmann rewrote Shakespeare and modernized it and changed the fucking story. That's why I call it a retelling.
So the one that you saw had no lines changed whatsoever. It was an absolutely
where art thou? Wherefore art thou Romeo? Yes,
and absolutely.
It was written in fucking English too. It's not like it lost something in translation. I'm not talking about ancient Aramaic in the Bible and we're misinterpreting shit.
I do love that the one line you picked to use as
wherefore
your
art
evidence
thou Romeo
was one of the most famous lines. Like the one line they can't
listen,
change.
I didn't do
that's
fucking gang show growing up, so I don't know because I was never in the fucking play. All I'm saying is it was a true to form version as opposed to Romeo and Juliet the movie, which was publicly, critically acclaimed for modernizing the story, but it did take a lot of modern. It has guns in it, for fuck's sake. Dan.
I don't think there's any evidence that there wasn't a Young Hearts Run Free moment in the original Shakespeare showing of Romeo and Juliet. There is no historical evidence.
Where the doves cry.
Anyway, before we start fucking acid etching our gold pistols, we're going to move the fuck onto our fourth beer. This is why I end up spending 7 hours fucking editing.
I guarantee you that the original cast of Romeo and Juliet were on pingers the entire time.
Yeah.
I think for the next episode, I might be on fucking pingers.
They're acid etching the guns with the acid I like.
This beer that I'm drinking is Grifter Brewing Co.'s Big Sur. I'm going to be
Big Sur?
Yeah. Big Sur. 6.7% ABV.
That is one of the great Australian West Coast IPAs. One of the greats.
And it is. It doesn't try to be anything that it's not. It's a big, it's not overly boozy, but it's a big ABV'd West Coast IPA. It's nice and dry. It's got a decent bitterness. It's lower than fucking Amanda, but then everything's got a lower than Amanda. I don't know what the ABV is, but I'm going to guess it's like a 40 to 45. It's great. It's
40 to 45 ABV?
IBU.
Oh.
Talking about bitterness.
I'm pretty sure it's ABV.
Because Amanda was like 50.
I said IBU. I was talking about bitterness.
Yeah, because Amanda's apparently 50 or 51, somewhere in that space. But yeah, no, I'm putting this under Amanda, but not a mile away from it. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. What?
We'll let
Dan?
it alone.
That was a big cock of the head,
though. Yeah. Let's just move on.
It's great. I'm gonna keep it simple and give it a fucking. I'm giving it a 4.
Tom finally twinged. Oh, good.
Yep. I'm going to give it a 4.
Nice.
Tom.
Nah.
Dan.
Not ready. I haven't had my first sip. I want another little sip of it, please.
I've almost finished. So I've got
there you
my
go. So you
MIA IPA from Bright Brewery. It's fine. It tastes to me a little bit old. I have had this can in here for about 30 fucking minutes, so I probably could have looked at the date. That is incredibly tiny on the bottom of the fucking can. Look at this. Look, how is that fucking shit legal? Anyway.
I don't know. Your camera keeps coming up for me.
Anyway, whatever. Yeah, no, I can't read it. It's got a little age on it, but it's still got some hop character to it. So it's got some caramelized malt character to the body of it. It's a 6%-ish, 6.5%. It's okay. What?
This is why I say to you guys, can you fill in your own fucking details? And I have to rewind the tape 30 times to fucking get. Okay,
That's
these
fine.
are the 5 attributes that I care about for the beer.
Pete, we've been doing this for long enough. I'm never entering my own details.
I know.
You are the transcriber.
Yeah, I know. I'm an enabler in this particular case.
No, that's exactly it. We are far too along in this relationship for me to start entering my own shit in there, all right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, and then you go in and change them, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, because I've got to link it back to the Untapped. Otherwise, I can't tag it.
Then why fucking even say put your own shit in if you're only going to have to change it to find it on Untapped?
No. But I've got to write down enough information that I can find it. Yeah, so out of 5, Dan?
So you have to get enough coherent information out of me in the first place to be able to put it on.
I can't wait for you to intro this episode for the fucking Instagram short after this episode.
Oh shit! Yeah, I have to do this one after.
Welcome to the fucking episode, you bunch.
I'm gonna go. You need to tag that one because that was 100% not me. I need to go and get another beer over this one. You know what? The age on it, I don't know how old it is. But there is definitely some age on it. As it warms up, it's getting worse. But 3.25.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. I'm pretty sure MIA IPA is part of their core as well. So that's.
So are you judging it on it as tasted, or as you are pretty sure it would have tasted when it was fresh?
A little from column A, a little from column B. I know I can see what they were going for, and then I can see what it is now. So. I'm going. Yeah, let's.
But you're unable to read the best before.
I mean,
it's in microprint.
It's fucking tiny, man. Like the month is fine. It is the shit. That's upside down.
It's the year you're worried about.
It's the 9th. The day is fine. The day is the 9, and then the month and the year blend into each other.
Right.
So
okay. Because I'm just trying to, if you know that it's fucking past its best before, then. What they were going for, they might have hit.
So let me.
This is not useful information for us.
But you can see how dark it is on.
It's tragically bad for those listening at home. The audio descriptive version of this episode, Dan was holding up a illegible can to the screen.
Yeah.
To the camera. Tom, are you ready to? Because I can't pad this much longer because Dan's going a little crazy on me here. Help me bring it in.
Waiting for him to finish. I'm having the second beer I had from Waitoa. This is the Afterglow. It's just their hazy IPA. A nice bright yellow can with a kind of like wavy, lavery kind of look to it. Same as the purple on the other side. Look, I had my first sip and I went, look, I'm not...
passion fruit?
Nah, Citra. And then I looked at the back and it just says Citra. And I was like, oh, good.
Did not lie.
No, it's just one of those ones like... Now knowing really what Citra tastes like, it's so, like we said, it's the cheat code of hops, and it's like sometimes it's just a little bit too overpowering, and I think it's the same in this case. It just tastes like those citrusy, orange, juicy flavors. It says it's got Motueka, Mosaic, and Simcoe in there. I'm not getting the dankness I would hope to get from Mosaic and Simcoe through that. It's that said though, it's not unpleasant. It is what you would expect from a hazy IPA. It's just. It's the old IDDGF cheat code thrown in there for the Citra. So yeah, look, I'm going to give it a 4 because it is really like the body of it's quite nice. It's quite thick. It doesn't look as thick as you probably think it is, but it really tastes. It's got that mouthfeel of the.
It looks like fucking Passiona from where I'm sitting, man.
Yeah, I think I've got a bit of a dirty glass now, so the head's not retaining anymore. I didn't wash my glass out in the break, and that's my fault because I'm an absolute idiot. But yeah, look, it's enjoyable. And like I said, I'd love to see some more of the beers from these guys in different styles as well. I know they do some lagers, and I would like to see if they do some stouts. Interested in their sours if they have any. I didn't look through their website long enough. I'm going to enjoy the rest of it. It's 6.7% as well, which I think is the same as the other one. Yeah. So I almost think they might be like, I would imagine they're like a co or dual release. Hey, we got 2 really kind of different tasting hazy beers. Yeah, would have been if I'd done a bit more. If I hadn't just discovered them this afternoon, I probably would have saved a bit of each in 2 glasses just to taste them as a contrast and compare kind of thing. Yeah, good. Waitoa. I've got them through Vintage Cellars. Fuck it, I did, and I'm proud of it. I'm glad to see them over here. I would like to see some more of their beers though. So let's hope they bring some more of their range out. Yeah,
nice.
Did I give it a score?
That's just good. You gave it a 4 out of 5.
Excellent. Well done, Tom. You did everything you needed to do there. I'm
You
call my
did.
mum and tell her I did everything right. Hey, mum.
Dan, are you winning, son? He's pouring a beer and he can't touch
he's
the
muted.
unmute button. Yeah.
Yeah, I was muted. I was doing it politely.
Yes.
Yes, I'm winning. So I'm not. I've chewed up enough time on this episode. You don't need to hear me talk too much.
No, not you.
Yeah, not me.
Listen, we're
not me.
about to enter the 30-minute fucking Tom, are you winning, son session.
No, we're not. We're not.
No,
We're not.
No,
We're
really?
not. We're not.
No. So this
I'm
is
just,
gonna.
I'm just ribbing
So
you. Don't get
how
all.
about you go and fucking sit on this?
Ooh,
Fuck
what is
yourself.
that?
It's my little Thor hammer
Oh.
bottle opener.
You can hammer me till I'm Thor. Carry on, Dan.
I will
so
beat you
this is
fucking senseless.
this is going to be me chewing up Tom's 30 minutes because Evil West is not a perfect game, right? Evil West is a old west. It's a third-person shooter on the PlayStation, Xbox, PC.
It looks like the game that was 2 games before Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, so it is a video game. It is not. It is, but it is a video game. It is not. It is not.
It's not a
winning
Red Dead
any-
Redemption.
It's not winning any awards for anything. The
Sure.
narrative, whatever. Like
Sure.
it looks pretty. The level design is basic. It's
old
of,
school.
It's
old
God of War.
It looked like a
mashed
fucking
in-
coin-op shooter, to be honest.
So what Evil West gets right is fucking balance. Evil West, the balance in this game is fucking amazing. It is absolutely pinpoint precision perfect.
Unless you're talking about the color saturation.
Oh no, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the.
Just
color.
wanted to make that clear because that's
graphically,
well off.
graphically
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, it picks a color palette for a level, and then it sticks with it for.
Oh, it sticks with it. Yeah.
But the balance of this game is amazing. So you start off as a vampire hunter in the Old West, and you go out and some of the lore behind this is fantastic. I mean, vampires are called sanguisines. I don't know whether it has some French terminology to vampires.
Sanguine's
Well-
it's blood, isn't it?
No,
Is that what
yes,
it is?
and to exsanguinate something is to drink all its blood. So
Well,
spiders,
there you go.
spiders consume their prey by exsanguinating them.
Okay, well, there you go. Sanguisines
So
are
do
what
mosquitoes.
How many people do you think have been killed directly from Mr. Mosquito drinking them like a thick shake?
It's
Carry
actually a very,
Oh, no, it's
very
malaria.
interesting.
You're right.
A very interesting comment there, Pete, because they refer to the sanguisines, the vampires, as ticks or leeches.
Yeah,
So
right.
How many leeches have you heard causing death? I mean, ticks, yes, but leeches.
Yeah,
So
you're right. Yep.
they go ticks, leeches.
They were used in
vampires.
medicine up until the mid 1800s.
They were, yes.
This is fucking the indie episode.
So I mean, you go through this as it's just a fucking video game. You have no preconceptions when you go into this game. It is just a shoot 'em up. It's a kill the bad
Shoot 'em
guy
up, bash 'em up.
video game. Yeah,
Raw hard.
but
Raw
as you go
hard.
through, and the level design doesn't change. You go through a bit of a level as a little bit of exploration. You go into a combat zone, which is clearly defined. You
Yep.
then go into a little bit of exploration, maybe a puzzle, into a clearly defined combat zone, into a little bit of exploration, into a boss fight. That is how.
Was there a puzzle at any stage?
Well, yes, in
Okay.
terms of
I played a long time ago, but yeah.
shoot this and make this fall.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yes. So there was. And I mean, this is the methodology across all of the levels. But the balance of this game is phenomenal. So you fight what you would classify as a mini boss in the 3rd level. And you go, God damn, that mini boss was hard. You might die once or twice on normal difficulty. That's what I'm playing.
Yeah.
You might die once or twice fighting this mini boss in the 3rd level. Then on the 6th level, they'll throw 2 of those mini bosses and a couple of other baddies at you in one arena. Your health has not increased. You don't increase your health through upgrades in this game. Your amount of health stays the same unless later on in the game you buy an upgrade that increases it once. You get some small bits and pieces that enhance your combat ability through this level. And as you get to these harder mini bosses, you need to use every tool in your arsenal to beat them. Like it gives you the tools to use later on as a combined combat option to to beat these mini bosses and big bosses.
Yeah.
So I think the balance in this game is amazing. Like, I'm now at the point where I've unlocked the entire skill tree. So I think I've only got 1 or 2 levels left in the game and I'm at the end. And I'm now at the point where I'm in an arena and I have 4 or 5 what I would have called mini bosses early game all there together. And I will die maybe 2, 3, 4 times before I beat these guys all in this little arena. And then you'll come up against the boss of that area, that boss of that level, and you'll get your ass handed to you on normal difficulty 2 or 3 times without making the slightest dent in the boss's bar. But then you go, okay, well, I know what they do now. I know their pattern, and I know how to dodge and how to attack. And I know what weapons to use. Oh,
well,
and I mean,
it is kind of almost Souls-esque
way.
in the sense that you learn you need to dodge at certain times and you learn their attack.
You learn the patterns.
Yeah. And I think the balance.
Wait till you play it on evil mode.
Yeah, no, thanks.
He won't. I know he won't. Yeah.
I just think the balance of the whole thing is fantastic. I mean, you get to the end of something like God of War, and even my most beloved game, The Witcher 3 or the Witcher series. You get to any of those Witcher games, and you're godlike by the time you finish them. Like in AYWS, I'm almost at the end of the game. I'm still getting my ass kicked by a boss. I'm still getting my ass kicked by mini bosses. Like, I will get overpowered because I've used the wrong ability at the wrong time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just, I think just how they trickle feed all of the upgrades, and there is no side missions. And this is
it's a real throwback to like the PS2 God of War and even God of War 3 on the PS3 and Ascension that came after that. It's that style of gameplay where you are in a boss fight, but you have to kill something to gain health back. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
They do throw in like fodder into your thing to kill it, compared to say Witcher 3, where it's like, oh god, I'm dead again. Fuck. Where am I, daddy? But yeah, no, it's
got dark,
that
figuratively.
Papa? Yeah, but no, it's that
Papa,
kind of thing.
can you hear me?
Oh god.
Fucking random episode.
But it's that kind of thing of like where you need those enemies to come in midway, so
you have to time them.
You have to time them so you can get your health back when you need it, compared to where you have a bunch of health potions to go through and stuff. Like, you do have them,
so
but, like.
So it's also, Pete, like there's only like two of your abilities that actually recharge over time. All the rest of your abilities recharge through moving forward, through attacking.
Yep.
So they recharge through you doing melee attacks against the enemy. So if you're not fighting forward, you're not recharging your abilities to then be able to use to defeat the boss. So if you're not physically moving forward, and I mean literally physically moving into the boss, you're not able to recharge your abilities that will then ultimately let you defeat the boss. And like I was coming up against bosses where I would take an eighth of their bar off their health the first 4 times that I fought them. And I'm like, no, come on, like you can fucking do this. But it wasn't. They weren't fights where I was going, fuck this, I'm out. They were like, you know what? I can do this.
You're enjoying it. You're enjoying the challenge.
I can see the pattern and I can move forward in this. I know the abilities that they've given me in the character because they've made me use them. And I can see where they want me to use them in this fight. So I'm going to move forward. And then all of a sudden, you've got the boss down to 3/4 health and you die. You go, you know what? That was fucking close. I'm going to get him next time. And you know what? You get him next time. And that to me is perfect balance. Like, kick my ass 2 or 3 times because you're doing something different to everything that came before in the 2 or 3 hours. And you're keeping me interested. You know what? I want to get to the end of the next level because I want to see what the next box does to me.
It's really good game design. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant game design. Yeah.
We are going to not do this during the podcast episode, but the 3 of us are going to sit down at some point. And we're going to talk about my favorite boss design as a reference point for these types of conversations because I find this really interesting, and you're making me want to play the game because of it. And I want to play Elden Ring for the same reason. It's all about, what are you giving me that weird look for, Tom?
I'm not
no
going
one
to
wants
sit down
to
and
hear
do shit.
Okay,
What are
I
you
have a
talking
feeling
about?
that
No, sorry, I'm just you're very
no,
cryptic.
I have spoken way too much about World of Warcraft over the years on the podcast. But when we talk about boss mechanics, to me, my platinum standard is my memories of certain boss fights. And in fact, I would actually love to sit down with you guys at some point when we've got some time, and I'll take you through 3 or 4 boss fights with like a quick YouTube video of the mechanic to actually defeat it. And you can see how vastly different they are, even though they're sequential bosses.
Sounds like a perfect fucking up lately episode. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but no one wants to hear about fucking my memories of World of Warcraft from 15 fucking years ago, man. Like you guys do because you're my friends and you kind of,
they normally don't want to hear. They
normally
don't want to hear what we're talking about. So that's fine.
Anyway, but it's also very visual.
I have to argue with that because one, I played World of Warcraft for about 10 seconds in comparison to you, but this is active. This is an active first person. You don't have anybody else there supporting.
I'm not saying it's exactly the same. I'm just saying when you talk about having to learn the mechanics of each boss in order to defeat it, and game design forcing you to adapt to the situation and to learn
just
through death.
Think slightly out of the comfortable way you've been playing through the level previously. I think that's a really good thing as well.
And I think what I found most from this game was I know I was learning the pattern of the boss, but I wasn't consciously learning the pattern of the boss. Yeah. I was learning the mechanics of the game, and then I beat the boss through learning and going, you know what? Fuck, do this. Like, dodge here, do that, bang, shoot this. Okay,
when it lifts its arms like that, it's going to do this, so you need to double roll as opposed to a single roll.
It's like the Valkyrie, the Valkyrie Queen at the end of God of War.
Yeah, and it was a very subconscious muscle memory. Muscle memory. But even I didn't know I knew those muscle memory things before I needed them in this game.
That's very funny you say that because mine was so. I remember being doing AYWS. Mine was so active to remember which way I had to go depending on. Really? Depending on certain bosses. Have you done the old man boss yet?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy in particular. I was just like, I had to remember. I had to almost remember what he was going to do, so I knew which way to go and which way to dodge.
That was the Valkyrie fights for me in God of War.
My brain doesn't work.
Way. Absolutely, yeah.
I don't, and this is why I have issue that I would really love to play Elden Ring and Lies of P, but I don't remember things like that. I play on instinct. I don't play on memory or what's in front of me. I just go.
But you defeated the Valkyrie Queen. I mean, the Valkyrie Queen was an amalgamation of the mechanics that you'd been introduced to through the other 12. I want to say Valkyries that you'd already defeated before that, and some of them were a piece of piss, and some of them were fucking steamrolled you a few times before you defeated them. But you had to learn the patterns at a subliminal level to be able to get through them because it was so fucking fast. And then by the time you got to the Valkyrie Queen, everything she threw at you, you'd seen before. You'd just never seen them all thrown at you at once.
And yeah, I understand the concept of it, but I don't. The way I work when I play things isn't, here's my visual cue to do this.
Okay.
Like that is that is not the way I do things. I just go, this is what I do. Like my muscle memory works different from my visual cortex.
Yep. I understand exactly what you're saying. You are you're driving the controller independently to a thought process.
Yeah.
So it's all subconscious.
I can't read a game guide, and when they go, when she does this, going to the Valkyrie Queen,
down diagonal right. Are you kidding? Yeah.
I don't. That doesn't compute with me. Like it is like I know it or I don't know it, and if I haven't done it earlier on, then I don't know it, and that's why I think Evil West does so well in its basic mechanics that it forces you to be able to understand these things going forward. Talked basically nothing about the game, but it's a visually.
But I think you
cool-
have.
Yeah, you did. Definitely did. Yeah.
Old West,
Especially for a game. Well, I've already reviewed it earlier
Yeah.
in an earlier
Okay.
episode as well.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I think I really focused on. I remember when I did it, I really focused on the color and the setting and how that really threw me. But it's good to hear your side, especially on the combat side of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a really interesting conversation. All that 6.7 sitting. It's good.
Who's winning next? Thomas.
Well, Pete's not. Let's just put that out there.
But I'm not losing either. I'm just
You're not
I'm
losing, but you're just not. You're not participating. He's getting a DNF. Did not finish.
Oh yeah, no participation trophy.
But you know what? I'm still seeing footage on Reddit of engagements, fights, and quests and characters in BG3 that I never met. Or variations.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about this. I saw a thing about when you meet the vampire man with the nice hair, the grey hair. What's his name?
Nice
Who
house.
won the
Yeah, that
quest?
dude. What's his name?
Astarion? Astarion is
Astarion,
the character's name.
Did you do the? Have you ever done the thing where if you attack
Become
him
the
before,
Vampire Lord?
No, you attack him when you first meet him. You attack him before he gets a chance to see you, and then you raise him.
No.
You get different dialogue. Oh,
No.
I'll send you if you want. I'll send you the link.
This is what I mean. Like, I'm still discovering so much content of characters that I know and love that are very, very, very fucking dark if you put them in the right circumstances.
I think they're all incredibly dark.
Did you see
but they're layered.
Even in the normal circumstances.
But they're layered. A lot of them are layered, and I'm not saying any of them are goody two shoes, but I mean, like, there's you meet towards the end of the game. I think you actually meet her in Act 1, but you have a lot of quest. There's a lot of tie into her storyline, and she drives some of the narrative in the second and third acts. But if you play your cards right, she ends up being a companion in your camp. She's never a good companion. She's still a fucking demon from hell, but she's in your camp and you can interact with her. You can actually have a romantic encounter with her too.
Sounds tasty.
Yeah. Is that the red chick?
Yes.
Yep.
With fucking demon wings, and yeah, she's
I
actually
only know about her from a clip where they use the Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny, and they put him into Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes. That's such a horrible fucking meme because it's so badly cut, and yet it's still hilarious.
It's horribly cut,
Yeah.
but it's fucking hilarious.
It turns out you somehow can turn her into a fucking vampire. Like, she's already a demon spawn from hell. So there's encounters, I've
So is
played
my
the game
ex-wife.
through twice, and I tried to do everything I could do in a playthrough. I used completely different characters on my second run through than my first, and yet there's so much content that I haven't seen, and it's materially different. It's not like I tweaked the skin here and I had a different dialogue option there. It is completely fucking different. So
yeah, the one I was talking about was a different. It was like two small pieces of dialogue for when you meet Astarion. If you manage to kill him and he doesn't see you, and then you revive him, or if you kill him and he watches you kill him before he gets to attack, and then you revive him.
I know
Yeah,
I know the engagement that you're talking about now. I
just thought it was really cool, like that you could do that,
and it's the most basic example of their gaming system. Fuck you, Dan. I don't even know how I started. Like, when someone fed me the fucking line. Screw you. That's the most basic example of the game system, Tom, and the complexity of the quests, because that happens in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, right.
And it's not a result of the million permutations of other decisions you've already made. At that point, one or two decisions will lead to like 11 different outcomes with one character interaction. So it's a good example. Anyway, Tom, are you winning, son?
I am. I'm dual consoling again still. So at
the same time. Now that would be fucking impressive.
Dual-wielding.
I am
He's
dual
got a
wielding.
Switch in one hand and a fucking
No. I've got
DualSense.
a DualSense 3 in one hand, a DualSense or DualShock 3, in one hand, and a DualSense in the other. No. So I'm currently doing the thing which I will probably envision doing for the next year. that I'm playing the PS3 and the PS5 simultaneously, depending on, if anyone wants the TV, then I'm like, oh, be in the front room. See you later. Don't contact me for 6 hours. Going back and playing Force Unleashed 1, I've been having the time of my life going through. I had to do a bunch of like the really grindy things of kill 500 people using this force power. And I was like, cool.
I remember that grind.
So I just had to churn through like the first level, but it's also I tried to do the first level as many different ways in terms of how I approached each combat thing. So I had fun with it. So that's cool. I've just got to finish the hard mode. I forgot how fucking harsh Starkiller is.
He is.
I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember the Shuck T fight on the Sarlacc?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So at one point, if you get her in, I think if you win the Force, you remember the lightsaber combat, like you had to mash square to win the lightsaber combat?
Yeah, the duel.
Then he grabs her by the Leku and swings her around and slams her. I was like, holy shit, man.
It is
2009 was wild. You could do that. Wow. It's cool. I love Sam Witwer. Like, obviously,
he's so good.
He's such a great voice actor and a great body actor as well for those things. Really enjoying that. Going back through the super hard, the hardest mode, the Sith Master mode. Oh god, I've had my ass handed to me by the bosses so far.
Do you need to play through that to get the plat?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Then I've done it. I just don't recall.
It's worth it though. But it's a game. It's getting the same thing of really thinking outside the square. The second level, you're in the trash Jedi temple and you fight the little dude on the thing. I could not defeat him. I spent about 6 hours sitting here. I was about to throw the controller through the TV. I haven't raged that hard in a long time, and I was like, wow. We've been really
coddled
the last 5 years, 6 years. That's why I'm really enjoying going back to the PS3, being like, fuck yeah, games used to absolutely ruin you if they really wanted to.
Oh, Tom, you go back before that.
Oh yeah, I know, obviously, yeah.
Yes.
But But even talking about a modern console that I'm, going back to. But it was just even things like that, and just really thinking okay, cool. This is where I am at the story. This is the powers I have. What can I do? And almost light bulb going on. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. So the dude's got a metal arm thing. He gets paralyzed by force lightning. I can pick him up while he's paralyzed by force lightning and just throw him. Yep. So I did that. Beat him in 10 minutes. Fucking cop this, you piece of shit.
So there's a daily poll thread running on Reddit that I've been tracking for the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
this is in context. So it's the 20 most badass characters in gaming, and it's been really interesting to read people's votes and their comments and all the discussion around all these.
Oh, that'd be pretty.
It's
deep,
such a good. But so we're up to day 5. I was the first time I weighed into the debate today, and I cast my vote for Starkiller.
Cool.
But so far we've got Kratos from the original God of War, Master Chief from Halo. Wouldn't have been my pick, not by a long fucking shot.
He's not very hard ass. Jesus fucking
no, he's
Christ.
Not. Doom Guy,
light the candles.
Doom Guy and Geralt of Rivia, and so I've put in my vote for. Yeah, it is interesting to see how it's played out. I've put in my vote for Starkiller for 5th because I think he's probably needs to be a little bit higher up.
Yeah, especially him in the first game. I remember the second game, he was more light side.
He was a lot more emotional as well, and he was dealing with finding out that he was a clone. And
he's still pretty baseline emotional in the first game.
More rage, but yeah, you're right. It's on the spectrum of emotion. It's just
yeah. So anyway, I've been really enjoying going back to that. Next, I'll smash out the end. I don't know why, but I never finished the end of AC2. So I'll go back and finish that next on the PS3. On the PS5 side of things, though, I did power through basically in a day of the Horizon DLC.
Burning Shores.
It was a good new area. The only new monsters they created or things they created, the robot animals, they were okay. They were just more mildly annoying than the other ones.
It was the same with Frozen Wastes in the first game, though.
It was.
They created one new model, which was essentially the super-sized polar bear dinosaur, and then they gave him 2 different skins, one for the lava
frost
and
claw
one for
and the fire claw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this one, you get the bile gut, which is a massive toad. And then you get the subside of that, which is a bunch of like little flies. And you got to kill a certain amount of them. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same characters.
I think it's a cool world. I still rate the world and exploring.
Oh, because you've played it, haven't you? Yeah, you've played it.
Fuck yeah! Oh, well, I haven't played Burning Shores, but I've
cool. I'm going to save my big discussion around Burning Shores for our character development up late.
Yeah, cool.
Yes,
Cool.
good, because that was one of the characters I thought that should be involved in that.
Yep,
Yes.
I've got a lot of things to say about the character development.
Yes,
The
good.
story
Okay, so
itself
I've got some homework then, because I've got to finish God of War, Valhalla, and I've got to finish.
Pete, if it helps, Burning Shores, like, to get through the story took me all of maybe 2 days.
I'll probably do it tomorrow. Well, I mean, it's a long weekend.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Oh, you can smash out. You definitely smash out. You can smash out both in a weekend easily.
Yeah, cool.
Look, the story was good, but compared the development of Aloy in this compared to the development of Aloy's character in the whole of Horizon Forbidden West didn't gel well with me.
Right.
And I think I spoke about it when we first played Forbidden West, which I didn't like the way that they developed Aloy's character. This, they made her character develop as a human person, because let's be honest, she's not really a human person. She's been raised isolated, all that kind of stuff. Too quick, and the story is romantic, but I didn't mind that sense of it. I just thought it developed too quickly.
Okay. So it
But
was synthetic.
But that said, the way it was acted was very well done. It felt weird in the spaces it should feel weird for someone who hasn't had that kind of connection with human beings
awkward.
before. Yeah, the awkwardness felt authentic.
Okay.
So smash through that. I'm going to save it for when A, you've played it, and B, we do this character.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this conversation because she's a great character to talk about in the context of development, because I've really enjoyed what they've done with her as a character, as a narrative character, and the development.
In the second one let me down. So
yeah, okay. It's going to be interesting to talk about that.
And
as
then I've
opposed
jumped
to,
into
Ellie.
Oh yeah. And then I've jumped into AC Syndicate. Thank you, Pete, for lending me that one. I love the Fry Twins. I think they're fun.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I want to do Evie's story missions, but I want to run around as Jacob. Purely because I think it's a costume thing. Like,
he's got such a badass fucking
Jacob's
it's not Victorian. Is it Edwardian?
The top hat fucking pisses me off. You
Oh,
know why?
really?
No. And it's one simple thing. So what I really liked about Jacob's original costume, which was the patchwork coat, and he had the Peaky Blinders cap.
Yep.
He had the flat cap. When he put his hood on, he folded up his Peaky Blinders cap and put it in his pocket. Now he's somehow folding up his top hat and shoving it down his pocket as well. I wish you had the option for the hat. Yeah, if you had that, if I could keep, because I got the gunslinger coat at the moment, and it's pretty fucking badass. I really like it. But if he still got to keep the flat cap, I think it just works. It's more immersive in terms of that flipping on the coat.
God, it's been a long time since I've played that game.
It's been a long time.
It's really fun. I think it's also the really, really good environment to have an Assassin's Creed game in terms of that Victorian London thing.
It's always dark and rainy and miserable. It just fits the ethos. So
really
good.
liking the grimy, I've done all the Charles Dickens missions. They were very fun. The supernatural side of Victorian London is always a very interesting part of that culture.
I thought the gang fights were a good mechanic.
No. The rest of it's fine. I'm running around a big London and I'm having a great old time.
It felt more natural because it's the same mechanic as you had in Brotherhood, essentially, where you recruited the Brotherhood and you had to fight the fucking Byzantine Empire. I think it's Byzantines. Might have been. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. The Ottoman Empire before that. I felt it was the same mechanic, but it was a lot more natural in Victorian London.
The reason as well that I've been choosing to play most of the day-to-day like missions as Jacob as well is because Evie's costume is so assassin-y and so out there and a bit outlandish. I just feel it really
doesn't blend.
It doesn't blend. It really pulls you out of that Victorian London thing. But running around as Jacob is a bit of fun. Also, did they consult Hugh Jackman when they decided on in the menu, when you have the switch, the R3 to switch between Evie and Jacob, and it's the still image of Jacob with the hood down. It's pure I'll take a photo
with
of
the
it.
mutton chops.
The mutton chops with the face down. It's 2000s X-Men Hugh Jackman. I was like, holy shit, that's Hugh Jackman. Like,
I do. You're making me reminisce about that game because it wasn't.
It's fun.
It
It's
wasn't
really
a
fun.
bad. It was an entry that It was an entry to the series that I was hesitant to play.
Also, the soundtrack's beautiful. That fiddly violin coming through.
So I've got. If you want to borrow the actual CD, I have the soundtrack for that.
I've got it on Spotify.
Spotify.
I've saved
It's a whole new
it
world.
to the library. Yeah.
See, back in my day, that was the only way to get the fucking soundtrack back then.
I used to have that. I had the AC4 soundtrack that lived in my car, and then some dickhead went through my car and stole the CDs out of the glove box.
So it was a thief with good taste.
Well, he stole the God of War soundtracks, the AC4, Witcher 3 soundtrack that I had, all these game CDs. I'm like, dude, they're not getting you any money at a pawn shop. No, they didn't have cases. They were just loose.
That was personal.
Yeah, but no, it was one of those things. There's the particular track that I love. If you do want to listen to the AC, is it Syndicate soundtrack? I'll find it. It's Cobblestones and Rooftops, and it's this beautiful fiddle track that comes through, and it goes really high pitched, and it's just that's what I picture of Victorian. When I listen anything Victorian London, I want that sound playing.
I've actually got the collector's edition, deluxe edition, whatever it's called, came with a proper little winder music box.
Waltzing on rooftops and cobblestones. Is that not the Victorian track you need to listen to in your daily life? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a little music box that you turn the thing and the little metal fingers come over the play wheel and from that game, and it plays one of the basic riff from one of the tracks in the game. Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a really good Assassin's Creed. It's reinvigorated my love of the Assassin's Creed franchise, actually.
When it was fucking good. Because it's not good now.
Obviously, for those who don't know, I borrowed a couple of Assassin's Creed games off Pete because I haven't played Origins. I need to play Valhalla. And I grabbed Mirage because he was like, I'm not playing it anytime soon. And then I think I have AC3, but I never played that. So I'm going to do
AC3 is great.
Yeah.
I missed it. My brother was obsessed with it, and I never got the disc off him. But yeah, no, I will go and play all of those. I want to do that.
It's Connor? Is that Connor?
Yeah. Well, they reference him pretty heavily.
So how do I forget fucking actors' names that I know and watched last? Anyway,
you know why? Because you play as the character. You're more involved than being
I'm a
passive
narcissist, basically, is what you just said.
No, because I do the same thing. You play and you're involved with the characters as opposed to passively watching them on a screen. Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to ask something. This re-sparked when you were talking about Force Unleashed 2.
Yes.
This sparked my thinking was, do you guys miss so Force Unleashed 2 had these segments where it was run for your life. That's what they called it. Was run for your life. The first one was where you dove out of the cloning facility and you were diving down
Camino.
You're falling down. It was Camino, was it?
And you're dodging TIE fighters
and you're dodging stuff as you down. Do you guys miss that interrupting part of the story for something that is more?
Yes,
I do too. I don't know how to describe.
Okay, actually,
it's more arcadey.
Are you talking? No,
it's arcade.
No, wait. Are you just talking about those explicit moments where where you're doing a moment where you're literally like it's just a chase sequence, or are you talking about like interrupting for like a QTE? So you interrupt the gameplay and then you have to do a button press
yes,
to get through.
But a meaningful QTE. Like, so the Run for Your Life was a meaningful QTE. It was a huge part of the stage you were playing, and it played into the story and lent into the story and the character and the development of that character. So Starkiller had to get out of the cloning facility, and this was the path that was presented to him to get out of the cloning facility. So this is what I'm talking about. This these games.
You were in jeopardy at that point though, because you were able to slow play through most of that level, and it gets to certain points during that sequence where you have to move forward, because you could slow play it as long as the enemies would keep regenerating until you moved forward, which would trigger scripted respawns.
I think of more so as playing Force Unleashed 1, which when you get a boss down to a certain level of health, it goes to a QTE.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah,
Like,
no, I don't.
You don't want
miss
that? That's
No.
not the thing you miss?
No,
okay, so
it's-
you're thinking
it's-
more about like the
A
actual...
segment of a level, which is
It became a platformer for a couple of minutes.
I get to a point within a level where I need to.
Can I remind you of my
dive out
favorite
the
my
window.
favorite one? My favorite one of all time, because it's God of War 2, and it's the crossing of the bridge. I don't know if anyone else remembers this. There's a moment in God of War 2, you have to cross a bridge and you jump onto the first section and then the bridge starts crumbling. And then you have to QTE your jumps and like hook swings to get over it. And the soundtrack builds up to it and it becomes a cinematic moment.
Yes. Yeah,
I miss
that's
those.
That's what I'm talking about. Those big cinematic pullback moments, which don't take.
But you still have some interaction. You're not just going, cool, put the controller
You're
down.
not
Let
a
me watch
passenger
this.
for a cutscene.
You're not a passenger for a cutscene, but
Yes.
it's a larger picture of what's happening to you. So
Yes.
the bridge, obviously the bridge crossing you're talking about, falling out the window of, and that's the big thing. I don't remember any more in Force Unleashed. I know there was several run for your life. moments
There's a
in Force
Cloud
Unleashed
City
too.
moment when you're running across a bridge and a gunship is behind you and it's blowing up the platforms
Yes.
behind you. Yeah.
So those things exactly.
I remember Force
which
Unleashed
are-
2 pretty well, actually.
Which-
Like, it's weird.
And
Which
you're
are-
you're reminding me.
which are like actual context involved. Like it's you are in the moment, involved into it. No, the bullshit QTEs to finish off a boss can go get fucked because
they just repeat it.
Which
So
is
that's the
every
thing-
Star Wars game too. Of
Oh,
recent
that was
memory.
that was also the thing of like, you know, that became pretty prevalent in the PS3 era. It was like, hey, QTEs, they're the new thing, and everyone was like, are they?
Well,
Can you not?
God of War.
Yeah.
I just missed that big cinematic moment. No, I think back to things like
About pulling down the
Uncharted.
fucking Star Destroyer.
Well, exactly. I mean,
One of
that's
the most
exactly it.
epic moments of a Star Wars game, in my opinion.
And
Well, that's
and-
button sensitive. Like, you have to put in the input for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I just wondered whether you guys missed those things too, because they
Fuck
seem
yeah.
to have a little bit gone. Those big, epic things.
So it was
where we-
cinematic, but you had agency, and so you
Yeah.
felt engaged as a result.
I think
That's a
Horizon's
fantastic
Horizon's
way
a
to
perfect
put it.
example. The playing the Burning Shores. There was it cut to cinematic moments in certain fights. And you're just like, oh,
Horizon did a decent. Sorry, I just think I yelled. Horizon did a decent job for both games on that as well, where it does pull back in certain moments, but only for a moment.
yeah.
But they were scripted cutscene moments as opposed to you controlling the character. I remember you were fighting the first. It's not a. What was the huge creature in Force Unleashed 2? And you're in the arena.
The
and you've got
Rancor, the Bull
It
Rancor.
was a rank. Yeah, it
Bull
was.
Rancor.
Yeah, it was bigger than a normal Rancor. That's what I remembered. And you had to run around the platform, and then you had to find him on several levels. And to me, and there were certain sequences where, there were scripted events, and you had to punch him in the face a certain number of times to trigger the next piece. Basic game mechanics. But then it would pull back, and you'd have suddenly you're this tiny little fucking dude on this humongous platform, and it gave you this really epic sense of scale. And I really enjoyed that. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about, Dan.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I feel that's a little lacking in some of these
It
things.
has been
But-
lately, yeah.
Hmm.
Certainly
Well,
the
I
games we're
think
playing anyway.
I think the games that we're playing as well they've changed in their scale of things. Especially God of War is a perfect example where it's become so much more personal. And let's not touch on fucking Jaffe's fucking comments on it. Good old Jaffle man, and his comments. But but it's become more personal, and even the big set moments, like you think in God of War 2018, where you fight is on the ice giant at the towards the end, or you fight the dragon. You fight the dragon moment, and it's like it's an immersive sequence, but it's different from a QTE boss thing where you're just like. It kind of resets. It's like if you fuck up that immersive sequence, it's like no.
You're dead.
You start from the beginning of that again. Like you don't get those checkpoints kind of thing. Whereas I think if you think about a lot of the, especially like PlayStation 3 era onwards, the boss QTEs, it's like I think Force Unleashed. So I fucked up the first boss on super hard mode, and it just went no, just start again. Here you go. Have a lolly. You did good. Go on, start again. Start the QTE again. It's 4 buttons, but I just mistimed one. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, nah, it plays you that in eternal loop, and it's just like it kind of takes you out of the game thing, whereas it's like, no, you fucked it up. You died. You start that whole sequence again. And like, you have to get through it. And it makes it like a bit more of a like, by the end of it, you're like either gripping the controller or you go, I am a golden god. Like, it's one of those moments where you're just like, I just got through that, or I am the greatest gaming god that's ever existed, and I demolished you. Take that, Santa Monica or
Mongrel
Square
Bison
Enix
Kids.
or whoever you are. Yeah.
I think we're going to... I was joking about
Dan's going to ramble.
session.
Dan's going to ramble. Cut him off.
Yeah, I am, but
He's getting sentimental.
Let's cut it.
Very... I mean, do you have any closing thoughts, Dan?
No, yeah, my only closing thought was everything you mentioned, and the point where God of War Ragnarok finished off on that QTE, but it was kind of a QTE heritage where it finished was the Thor fight. You kind of got through that Thor fight at the start, and then you kind of didn't get anything.
When you fought his sons, I'm pretty sure there was...
No, that was the first game.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
No,
yeah.
So Ragnarok was the end of that. Like, so the Thor.
You did have a bit of QTE with the Allfather.
You had a little bit, but it was nothing.
Not as
ever
much.
any challenging, and it was never anything within a big fight that was
epic
like,
in
the
scale.
cinematic
as
set
well as
piece did not feel as big as the Thor fight,
and had impact on like the literal clashing of Mjolnir
of the Titans,
and the Leviathan axe throws a thunderbolt in situ, like literally throws it in time from where you had that clash for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
and that
you could go back and visit it if you wanted it multiple times.
Yeah, definitely. And that was to me was the point of that game where those moments died. And I know that's a big call, but that was.
Well, they didn't die. They were just left with a lasting memory, but they didn't impact, I guess, the gameplay or story as much as those things.
But it's what drives your connection to how epic the character is that you're playing too.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing that's missing from these earlier games is that like you have these, you had these.
I missed
QTE
the traveler fights. Sorry,
you have these QTE interactions or these whatever boss. If it's a boss, if it's a crossing of a bridge or something. But it's like afterwards, it's like. I remember in God of War 2, I'm pretty sure you could go back and cross that bridge afterwards. It was just harder. It just involved a lot more jumping and swinging, like because you had updated abilities because you had to go back and collect things afterwards. And it was like, okay, but it's
already done it.
Yeah, it doesn't really take away from that moment, but it doesn't really add anything to it. Whereas coming back and seeing that frozen thunderbolt, like lightning bolt, thunderbolt,
Thunderbolt.
Same difference.
I call it because that's what they call it in mythology. Yeah.
It's. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking back to Pokemon. That was a Pikachu move. Yeah, but it was just like coming back to see that. It held that bit of more meaning because it didn't really impact your gameplay, but you could just go and spend time there, and it
definitely held meaning. Yeah. I thought it was that was a beautiful moment, and
absolutely. Yeah.
I just miss those. I miss those big cinematic make me feel good and big and bigger
connected
than what
to the character.
Connected's probably a better term. Make me feel part of the world and make me feel part of the mythology.
Invested, I think, is the right word.
Invested in the world, not just invested in our world, invested in their world.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you're invested in the character and and their identity and the world that they belong to. And
Starkiller can jump out of a Camino window and make it 300 floors down, dodging TIE fighters because he's fucking Starkiller.
Yeah,
it definitely has reaffirmed my ability that Starkiller should never be canon because he's too fucking.
You said that
he is OP.
Yeah.
Starkiller should absolutely be canon and
absolutely not
no Mickey and the House of Mouse into a steaming pile of mouse
he already did that. 15 years ago.
Okay.
Anyway, I think we're gonna. Yeah, this is the. Oh, I'm giving you guys
Dan's
shit about the
losing track.
15-minute Are You Winning, Son? And 50 minutes later, here we are.
Hey, 30 minutes of that was Dan.
I wasn't pointing fingers.
I
was.
called it from early. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. If you've managed to survive all the way to the end of our 3-hour, 2-hour episode,
Hey, so standard timing. Well done.
Yeah.
Another happy landing.
For you. No, it's been good. Any closing thoughts? I don't know. I'm hesitant to even ask.
Don't ask that.
Okay, thanks for tuning in.
Game well, watch well, be well.
See you in a couple of weeks.